Yes. Hello. What time is it? 1:14 in the morning, Saturday, November 12th. Happy Veterans Day yesterday. Missed that. To all our fighting men and women, thank you. Thank you very much. Now, Scott Adams, the creator of Dilbert, and very talented, interesting guy. He does a coffee live stream every morning, which it's pretty good. I used to listen to it more often. I mean, sometimes you ever do this, Mr. Pliskin? Hello. Oh, Saunders is live too. Is he really? Oh no! Saunders. Is he showing his butt cheeks or anything like that? Is that what's going on? Well, now, geez, I got to open up a new window and everything. Oh my God! Let's see now, I'm sub to him, so I should be able to see it. Red Pill Rhino is on. Oh my God! Look at that. We were going to do a stream earlier, and I guess now, he waited till now. So, okay. So I'll say my piece, and then we'll go on and see some other stuff. Oh, it looks like Hammerhand has Black Ram on Sunday, 6:20. So let's see. Red Pill Rhino is live. Manic the Mechanic. Here's Saunders is live after hours. True Happiness comes off after you. Jesus. So what should I do? Should I continue, or should we go somewhere else? I don't know. I think I'm going to continue because I think it's interesting. Ballistic Zero, hello. Oh yeah, we'll do a raid. Absolutely. We'll definitely do a raid. Ballistic Zero, Lego My Ego, Hamster Lives Matter. Okay. Yeah. We'll do a raid for sure. Where's your best buddy, Miss? Yeah, he's quite an interesting fella, if you know what I mean. Anyway, let's get back to the election outcome and election. I don't think Adams is making excuses for the election. He just wants to find out why. What happened. Where's the red wave? It's like, what? Yeah, well, it didn't exactly happen, but it wasn't 100% all bad news either. So apparently, Masters in Arizona didn't win. We're still not sure about Kerry Lake. And I believe we do have a new governor of Nevada, a Republican. So, I mean, it's a mixed bag. Now, the interesting part about all of this, I talked about it, and I'm going to stand by what I said. Abortion, and I should have put the caveat in there, for most people, is not the hair on fire situation that the Democrats were hoping it would be. Although it did seem to help somewhat with the young single ladies. We'll get to Ben Shapiro here in a bit. But yeah, overwhelmingly, young single women voted for the Democrats. Now, it's really propaganda. Yeah, more like a red drip. There was just, yeah, exactly. Really propaganda. Oh, you got to vote for the Democrats. Now, let's just look at the reality of the situation. We had Kansas a couple of months ago. We had Kentucky, California, Michigan, and Vermont. They all had ballot measures with respect to abortion. See, because that's what happens when you don't find a constitutional amendment in the Constitution. You go to the 10th Amendment, and thus it goes back to the states and for the people to vote on. Now, you know what? In every single state where this was on the ballot, abortion stands. Even in Kentucky. That's democracy. You might not like it. I personally, I'm not real big on killing the children. I don't like that idea. But if that's what the people want, that's the system we live in. Okay? And again, I've said it a million times. Eventually, it'll come around to 10, 12 weeks, legal nationwide. And it certainly should be legal and available for women who are victims of rape, incest, horrible things like that, ectopic pregnancies, etc. Come on. We can't be heartless here, for Christ's sake. Please. Beavis Jones. All right. That's another interesting thing coming up. Trump is he's going in to some degree with DeSantis. Of course, the media is overblowing it just a little bit. I had to listen to Trump's comments on that. He called him desanctimonious or something once. He didn't rip him apart, didn't say he was a loser. He didn't say anything. He gave him a nickname, I guess. So, yeah, careful. News media likes to be the spreaders of bullshit, and they're very good at it. Anyway, Beavis says they successfully split the Republicans to DeSantis and Trump. The Lincoln Project endorses DeSantis for president. Only true patriots stand by Trump. If Trump is the nominee, he definitely has my support in 2024. I will vote for Trump. But, he does have to tread a little carefully. I don't think it's going to work as effectively as the first time where he basically ripped the entire freaking party apart. But again, we'll have to talk about that at another time. But yeah, if Trump is the nominee, he will get my vote in 2024 without question. Anyway, go ahead.
Their plan is so amazingly clear that I don't know how you can miss it.
Okay.
But
so Scott Adams is, the creator of Dilbert, the cartoon. If you're an engineer, Dilbert hits very, very, very close to home, if you know what I mean.
You could argue the same thing about the Democrats. The general plan is pretty clear.
Yeah.
Listen, folks, if we lose, we could lose Senate control. And
Yes. Yeah.
There's simply too much at stake.
No.
All right. So those are possibilities. In the comments, which of those do you think are the biggest ones? Abortion, quality of the candidates, the team play thing, of course. You don't have to say that one because team play is of course, the big one. But what's the second biggest one?
So Adams has a particular opinion. And be prepared for some salty language.
Dems funding the worst people, the red wave being in the wrong place, funding the wrong places, I guess.
Yeah, the red wave probably happened on Mars. It didn't happen.
The GOP not having a positive message. Give me your opinion in the comments.
I don't know. As far as I know, the GOP had a sort of positive message. But, there is that aspect of it. You can rip the president apart. You could say he's this and that, blah, 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 blah. What are you going to do? If we elect you, what are you going to do to fix the problems we can see around us? It's one thing to bitch, because we're all good at bitching, aren't we? What are you going to do? What are you going to do to start looking at inflation, oil, etc.? Oh no, this Fetterman guy, he's brain dead, or Joe Biden's also. Tell us what you're going to do. Okay.
I'll just read them off as they come. I'm seeing abortion the most, right?
Meh, not really.
Yeah.
No.
Somebody's saying ballot harvesting and mail-in ballots. Maybe.
Yeah.
Which is, everything. If you're ballot harvesting in the right places, it's legal. So most of you think abortion.
No.
Right? How many of you didn't see that coming? I'll tell you my point of view. I don't think I said it out loud, but correct me if I ever said this out loud.
Okay, sir.
But when I saw the Supreme Court ruling against Roe, and then I saw Lindsey Graham doing his, attempt at legislation on abortion.
Now, let's talk about Lindsey Graham here for just one moment. Senator Graham from South Carolina introduced legislation that would legalize abortion nationwide up to 15 weeks. Now, somehow, in some weird, I don't know, time warp or some shit, that legislation to legalize abortion nationwide was turned into banning abortion nationwide. Now, how in the fuck How can you get from something being legal to something being banned? The propaganda machine, people, is absolutely real. Now, Scott Adams is not a stupid man. He's a very sharp man. So IQ's got to be up in the 140, 150s. I mean, he's up there. And yet he believes the propaganda. How can you take something that would make it legal and say it's a ban? I have no fucking idea.
I said to myself, you just threw away all of your advantage. I thought the Republicans threw away everything.
How is it throwing away? By offering to make it legal. Just, it boggles my mind. It's just like, what the boof? What in God's name are these people talking about? Now, from the Democrat perspective, the pro-aborts, well, it's a ban because you can't have abortion after 15 weeks. 15 weeks would be in line with the rest of the civilized world. But alas, making it legal is now a ban. Talk about fucking Orwell, man. Talk about 1984, would you?
I thought it was years of work, and they just flushed it down the toilet right in front of all of us.
Right.
That's what I thought.
Well, you were wrong. So
to me, the election went exactly the way it should have.
Okay.
That's the way it should have.
Okay. All right. Yep.
If your party makes a mistake that big and it doesn't affect the election, I don't know what to think.
Mm-hmm. Your party makes a mistake that big, introducing legislation to make it legal up to 15 weeks. Mm-hmm.
That looked like the biggest, most obvious mistake anybody ever made.
Making abortion legal nationwide up to 15 weeks. If anything, that would piss off the Bible thumpers, wouldn't it, Scott?
I think that was one for the ages.
Oh, God.
Now, the Supreme Court, you couldn't help, right?
Yeah.
The Supreme Court's on its own schedule. Can't help that.
Right.
But the Lindsey Graham thing was such an obvious cell phone that...
I mean, the horse is dead by now. You get my point. Somehow the media and the propaganda machine turned something that should have been looked at as, well, it seems like a reasonable compromise, into a ban. Okay.
I don't know. It's hard to explain it. But
yeah, it is hard to explain.
But let me give him a compliment.
Okay.
He was honest, consistent, and has a moral standard that he's pursuing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't hate that, but strategically bad. All right, now I'm going to tell you the real answer.
Again, I just don't understand.
You're all wrong.
How?
All those reasons you gave?
Yes, Mr. Adams.
They're all wrong.
Okay.
Who made the difference?
Single women.
Who made the difference in the election? What demographic group
Single women
dominated the result?
Yep.
Young people.
Single
of
women.
what kind?
Single women.
Unmarried women.
Yep.
Young unmarried women were the dominant. Okay.
Yep.
And those young unmarried women, they were getting their news from Fox News. Fox
Probably
News?
not.
Is
Probably
that where
not.
they're watching?
No.
Were they watching television news?
Oh no. Oh no.
Were the young single women watching a lot of television?
Probably Stephen Colbert, some of those people.
News from television?
Probably not.
How about Twitter? Twitter's
maybe
mostly male. By the way, could somebody give me a demographic on that? Twitter is mostly male, right?
I don't know. It's a good question. I think YouTube is mostly male, but I don't know about Twitter. God only knows what Elon Musk is going to do, but I'm not on Twitter. But okay.
So what would be a large media kind of a platform that young women tend to gravitate toward more than other people?
OnlyFans?
Yeah. You see it?
Instagram,
TikTok.
Facebook.
TikTok is the primary communication to young single women.
Really?
It's owned by China.
Well, that much is true, Mr. Adams. Yes.
Do any of you use TikTok? Here's a
No. No.
question. Have you ever seen anything on TikTok about border security? Border security.
Oddly enough, there is some political stuff from TikTok. But again, it's mostly, evil white men.
It's all over TikTok, isn't it?
Well, not so much white men. It's evil men. A lot of black dudes on YouTube and TikTok. Basically saying a lot of the same stuff as this evil white supreme pizza guys.
Nope.
Yeah.
Probably never seen it. Now, I'm not on TikTok, so I have to ask this question. First of all, how many of you are on TikTok? Are there enough people watching here that you can even answer this question?
Who knows? You guys on TikTok? I don't know. Ballistic Zero says Twitter is mainly non-binary, like a oh no. Twitter is mostly bots, yeah. Hignio Morales. Yeah, I don't know. I think Elon supposedly is going to whack the bots, but God only knows, We just we're never going to know, are we? Mr. Pliskin. Libtard City 9000. Never have, never will. TikTok? Nobody's on TikTok. I'm not. Just Beavis Jones. You just mind yourself. Don't get to see Black Panther. I know. Is it crazy? But that's not racism. I know all the J Lowdown. I enjoy all the great advancements we have, but it sucks living in a time where so many weak, undeserving people hold sway over it. Well, yeah, it is a free country. I mean, you got to take the good with the bad. Well, mostly free country. Mr. Wick. Oh, man. Hey, all right. Let's get back to Adams and see what he has to say.
Yeah, I want to see some yeses. Any TikTok people?
No.
A lot of no's.
I did a poll. There's no.
All right. My audience doesn't overlap with TikTok much.
I would imagine
so I don't know if any.
It's mostly women. I don't know. But I mean, I've seen enough like Odin's Men and Doc Rich and some of these guys pulling down stuff from TikTok, putting, what do they call it? The snips or whatever. What do they call it nowadays? Where they put them all. There's a name for it. I can't think of it.
You know this, but
yeah.
How many TikTok users have seen a abortion related TikTok?
There's a few. Yeah.
Right. Have you seen any abortion communication on TikTok?
Yes.
I'm saying yeses. Right?
Yeah.
Now, you know who owns TikTok, right? Everybody knows China.
China.
It's a Chinese company.
China.
Which means the Chinese government can tell this company to do anything they want.
Yes,
anything
indeed.
with the algorithm.
Mm-hmm.
You see it, right?
Yes.
The group of Americans that controlled the election outcome are the group of Americans that China controls through TikTok.
That is a profound observation, isn't it? The young, single female who, in some cases, put the election one way or the other, controlled by China. Interesting.
Do you find that a coincidence?
Mm-mm.
This is exactly what I've been telling you was going to happen.
Yes, sir. Yep.
Just as when Lindsey Graham did the abortion thing, I said, uh-oh, Republicans are fucked, obviously. Obviously they're fucked. And they were. Right?
Not really. Mr. Adams, Mr. Dilbert, there wasn't a red wave. Clearly, there was not a red wave. There also wasn't a blue wave. Let's see. Now, if abortion was this light your hair on fire kind of bullshit, I think we'd have a lot more blue. We didn't. Now, even though the young single women are obviously an important demographic, they're not the entire country. They may have changed the margins in some races, but let's be a little bit realistic. Look at the map. It's not as bad as people think it is. I mean, look at Florida. Look at Nevada. Look at potentially Arizona. Look at some of the positives. Now, if history tells us anything, Mr. Adams, the Republicans, even if they get power in the House, they won't do fucking anything. Because Republicans don't know. They don't know how to lead. What they do somewhat okay is defend. It seems like Republicans, if they're the underdog, they do better than if they're actually in charge. It's crazy. Trump, first 2 years. Do you get my point? Go on.
Allowing TikTok, a Chinese company controlled by China, to be the primary channel for the most important group of voters in the United States.
Okay.
Do you see any problem there?
Maybe.
And that fucking thing is still legal.
Whoa. See, normally Adams doesn't get quite as,
That fucking thing is still legal. And it will stay legal as long as Democrats find an advantage in it. Because at this point, it's working for them.
Bingo.
So the Democrats have no reason to take China's influence out of the election.
Nope.
Because it's the same as theirs. It matches.
Yep.
Now, would you accept the following as fact?
Okay.
Fact, China owns TikTok. Fact, TikTok decides what you see. Fact, the biggest group of people in America watching TikTok are young single women. Fact, they determine the election. Is there anything else I need to tell you?
No.
Why is TikTok still alive today?
No idea. Why? Because Donald Trump didn't cancel it, I suppose.
Is TikTok, why is that app still working in America? Why?
No idea. No, why do a lot of these freaking social media things? Anyway, yeah. No, I get his point. It's influenced by the Chinese Communist Party.
Am I the only one who fucking noticed?
No. No, Mr. Adams. You're not the only one that noticed. Now, remember, didn't Donald Trump do something with a Chinese company with respect to Wi-Fi or 5G or whatever? Remember that? He probably was called a racist. I'm certain.
Am I the only one who fucking noticed?
Nope.
Did you see this in the news?
Nope.
Who mentioned it besides me?
I think I saw it on the Daily Wire, actually.
Did you once see this in the fucking news?
I saw you. That's why I'm here.
No, it wasn't in the fucking news. Do you know why?
Because
I don't.
Because it benefits the Democrats.
I don't. But I'll tell you what you're going to see. It's going to be in the fucking news today.
It was.
Yeah. I'm going to drive a stake through TikTok's fucking heart. I'm going to use this. Because you can't ignore this, can you? Once you hear it, you can't ignore it. But until you heard it, you can ignore it. Maybe you didn't connect the dots. But people, the signal is glaring. This is not the hint of a suggestion of maybe something could go wrong. It's not.
No, it's a suggestion that things did go wrong a long time ago.
This is something already went fucking wrong right in front of you. It controlled the entire fucking fate of the country. And China did that.
Yes, indeed.
China did that.
Yeah.
As long as on the Locals platform, I taught them a lesson about cognitive blindness.
Okay. Right.
It's what magicians do. It's one of their techniques.
Right.
And cognitive blindness is where you talk about one thing, and then people's minds enter that frame. And once they're in a certain frame, they're blind to things that are completely obvious. And you could easily see it, but your mental frame just moved off it for a moment.
Mhm.
That's what's happening here.
Yep.
If your frame was correct, you would say, who controlled the election? Young women. Where do they get their news? China. Is there anything else to fucking say about it? Is there any complexity to it? Is there anything confusing?
Is there any nuance?
Do you see anything confusing? No. This is not confusing. This is China.
Now, you have to keep in mind, Scott Adams is not a Republican. Adams is not right-wing. Not even, well, maybe a little. Maybe he's more moderate.
They're influencing our elections. They just decided who runs our Congress.
Yep.
Now, suppose you say to me, Scott, that's hyperbole. We do not have proof that they consciously affected our elections. Big fucking deal. They just showed they can. They just showed they can. And you're not going to stop it now? I don't even care if they did or didn't, because I actually like the result of the midterms. They may have helped us out. It may have been a favor in disguise.
Like I said, he's he's definitely not a Republican. I think he lives in California. So, and I mean, God bless him, But I think like Brett Weinstein and Dave Rubin and some other sort of former or semi-lefties or even far lefty. I think Brett Weinstein and his wife, Heather, are pretty freaking far left. But in the classical sense, not the communist sense, which is a big distinction, I think, at this point.
But, because I like our inactive Congress. But so do they. So do they. I think they like our inactive Congress, too.
Yeah, well.
Now, ask yourself if your elected representatives are going to do anything about this.
No. No, they will not.
If they don't, you don't have any elective representatives. You just have elective assholes.
We have a power elite running the government who don't give two fucks about what the people want. They don't care. They only care about us every 2 years or 4 years to get elected, or 6 years. That's it. I mean, if you think the person you just elected to Congress is going to, I'm for you, I'm going to fight for your, they don't fucking care. It's even gotten to the point. I just read today that there was a congressman in New York, Mahoney or something like that, got beat by a Republican. I know. In New York State, hey, New York City and some of the bigger cities are all blue, but the rest of New York is pretty conservative. Honestly. This guy was going after AOC, of all people. Which is, oh my God, Trump, DeSantis. What about this guy, this Maloney guy, and Andrea Ocasio-Cortez? Oh my God. These people care about one thing, being in power. Republicans and Democrats, independents, so it doesn't matter. If they're better than us, and we plebs just have to go out and pretend we vote, and it counts every couple 3 years.
An elective representative would get rid of fucking TikTok tomorrow.
Nope.
But these are just elected assholes.
Yep.
Right? An elected asshole just has to shit. So that's all you'll see. You just see them.
I put the link, by the way, in the description if you want to hear this whole discussion with Scott Adams. Pretty good, actually. Beavis Jones, enemies, foreign and domestic. The domestic ones facilitate the foreign ones now. Well, it doesn't matter. As long as you keep in mind, in my humble opinion, power, regardless. And see, and that's one thing with the Democrats that I find very, very interesting. Now, we don't want to get into all the gory details, but more Hispanic people, more Black Americans, more Asian Americans, etc., voted Republican this election 2 days ago or 3 days ago. Now, the Democrats insist upon, that Republicans are racist because we don't want illegal aliens coming in. Well, it's not just the Republicans. It's real people, like Hispanic folks living in Texas or in Arizona or whatever, that maybe did the right thing, came here legally, went through the paperwork and all the bullshit. And now they're Americans. They don't like it either. The Democrats think, because they like to lump everyone together into one bucket, don't they? Well, they're brown people, so they're going to vote Democrat. They're going to be really fucking surprised. Really surprised that more and more Hispanic folks from Mexico, Central America, good people, coming to the United States, becoming citizens, are not going to vote their way. Why do you think they lost Miami-Dade in Florida? Full of Cubans, full of Haitians, full of Caribbean folks. Went solid red. Miami-Dade in Florida. And the Democrats scratching their head. Well, I guess, those white supreme pizzas and then Donald Trump and Martians. It's because these people understand, especially the ones from Cuba or Venezuela or Haiti, for God's sake, or other nations. They come in. They come to this country. So much opportunity. So much opportunity. They come here and they look and they say, why are people complaining about this great land where I can come and I can make this money, send it back to my family, get them here? It doesn't make any sense to them. You've got Cuban, brown and black people from Cuba coming to the United States. And they're like, what the fuck are you people complaining about? It's kind of like this. I saw this World War II. I like to watch the World War II stuff. And I think it was when the Russians started coming into Germany. And the Russians were saying, why is Germany trying to invade us? Look at how great they have it. They have all this stuff. They got cars, nice houses, places to work, all this food and all these wonderful things. The Russians are going, why the hell are they coming after us? Think about it. Anyway, go ahead.
And, get elected and shit. Mm-hmm. Fucking kill TikTok. We could not be more obvious or more bipartisan. Well, I suppose it's not bipartisan if one side likes it. But it should be. It should be bipartisan.
But I mean, if TikTok went away, something else would fill its place. So we're stuck with it. We're stuck with it. It's not the TikTok. It's not the Facebook. It's not the OnlyFans. It's not all this propaganda bullshit. It's the education of young people to understand when they're being brainwashed, but they do not. An even bigger nut to crack, Mr. Adams.
Show me one person who disagrees with me. Anybody.
I'm sure somebody
in the comments,
does,
you agree.
somewhere.
You disagree with almost everything I say. Some of you, right?
Nah, I don't.
Show me one fucking person who disagrees with this. Nobody. Not one fucking person. And you're not going to see any action on this today, I predict.
Never.
You'll see some news on it, but I'll bet you won't. You're not going to see any government action.
Nope.
You're not going to see any senator say, oh, let's put this at the top of the list.
Nope.
You're not going to see anybody.
Nope. Nope.
I don't know why exactly, but you're not going to see it.
Because it benefits the elite. It benefits someone. Anyway, go look, if you want to, look at the entire interview. It's pretty good. Or actually, it's a monologue. But you know what I mean? Yeah, come on. It's getting late. Stop it. There, I did it again. See, I'm always doing that. Don't copy, paste, you idiot. Okay. Paste. There we go. All right. So Ben Shapiro also came out with a video concerning the single ladies.
It doesn't matter, marriage. It's not an independent institution. Family's not an independent institution anymore.
That's loud. All right.
Surround yourself in millions of lights.
Oh, I think
and
it's loud.
music. Stay beneath the dazzling 8-story tree and
Ooh.
discover America's best holiday
Silver
event.
Dollar
Silver
City.
Dollar Cities and old-time Christmas.
Where the hell is that?
Discover, wonder together.
Is that Missouri? I don't know. Okay, well, we'll find out.
Family is just how you get together in your house. It's a bonds of relationship. It's about.
Now, Ben eventually will go on to, in his monologue here, to talk about how we need to get married, need to do all these things because, well, you know, the future depends on it. Beavis Jones, I hope that's a compliment. I love you too, man. Thank you very much. Well, I used to do this shit for like 5 hours a day. So yeah, I think I've maybe learned a couple things over time, but who knows, right? All right. Anyway, Ben Shapiro. Benjamin Shapiro. Well, we should all get married because it's the foundation of the civilization. Well, he's not wrong. He's not wrong, but the problem is, like a lot of conservatoids, they don't understand. They've, thank goodness for them, have never been through the mill of the divorce and family court. Never. And likely Ben will not. And good for him. Good for him. But you see, Ben, here's the thing, and I've said this a million times. Conservatives say the family is the bedrock of the country. It's the strength. It's the da-da-da-da-da. Yeah, it is. So if the conservatives were so interested in getting more people married, having children, families, etc., don't you think somebody at some point, someone in power, would sit down and have a little conference, maybe a little lunch meeting, and say, you know, we need more people getting married. Okay, what do we need to do? Well, you know, what about this? What about no-fault divorce? What about alimony? What about child custody? What about any of these things? Because we all have told ourselves a million times. I have told people on YouTube and in my personal life, marriage today, as it is structured, is a lose-lose situation for men. It's a legally enforceable contract with the female and the government, and men lose every single fucking time. No matter what. Excuse me. There are some states in this country where if your wife goes out and has an affair, you're responsible for the child. You're not the father. Doesn't matter. You get to pay child support if she decides to divorce your ass. What? How does that make any sense? Well, but you were married at the time, you know. See, this is the this is the old-fashioned, what was it called? Coverture laws and all that. Well, the women's are responsible, the man is responsible for all the women's stuff. Why is it the feminists don't want to get rid of that? If you thought about that, why do the feminists not want to get rid of alimony? I can take care of myself. I pay my own rent. Yo. Why don't they want to get rid of that evil patriarchal institution? Have you considered that? Why would that be? Anyone in the peanut gallery? Hello? Yes? Yes? Salt Ed Steady Eddie. Exactamundo. Exactamundo. Now, another thing about these abortion amendments and various things, they don't say women shall have. They say people shall have. Well, we all know that's bullshit. Men have no say in this operation here, do we? We cannot force a woman to have an abortion or force a woman to have a child the way it should be. I agree with that. But they keep saying in these amendments and laws, well, people shall have the right to, men don't have the right to do jack fucking shit with respect to childbirth. And I think as it should be, you shouldn't be able to force a woman to have a child or force a woman to have an abortion. No. What you need to do is wrap the rascal up and don't partake in the situation knowing what could be the outcome. A child. And whether you want to be a father or not, the government will force you to become a parent. So what is this equal? What are they even talking about? Reproductive rights only for women in the United States. See, if you don't want to become a father, you shouldn't have sex. However, if you say the same exact thing about women, you're a misogynist. You hate women. You want to oppress women. Excuse me, what? Now, if telling women not to have sex if they don't want to get pregnant is oppression, what a telling men the same, not oppression, not well, that's interesting. That's actually, Beavis, I think they're trying to pretend, because there are laws in the Constitution and various other things that you can't treat people differently based on their sex. But of course, with respect to abortion and having children, obviously, men and women are treated differently. Somehow it's legal. I don't know how. Women today want a career first. They run into the wall of age. Men are yep. Salt Ed, Steady Eddie. Good to hear from you. Thank you for coming by. Anyway, let's go back to Ben.
Love, it's not about the effect on society, and the rules for your family are just kind of between who's in the household. The changing definition of marriage is a fundamental fact in Western life.
Okay, Ben, I'm going to preempt you just a little bit. Back in the old days, not actually that long ago, the only way most men could get access to the poon was to put a ring on it. So what do we have today with our younger females willing to give it up at 2:30 in the morning for the fat bass player at the bar on a Friday night? No commitment, nothing. Why would we want to put a ring on it if it's so available? I mean, if that's your goal, you want to get laid, even Fat Hamster could go out and do that. What time is it? I think the bars are closed, but if it was 2 hours earlier, if I wanted to, I could go out to some bar here somewhere and pick up some skank. It wouldn't be that hard to do. Would I do that? No. Fuck no. But could I? Of course. Now, if me, Mr. Fat Guy, with the small hamster penis, can go out and get laid, anyone can, Ben. So there was a time when it wasn't that available. Like when my old man was younger, when he was in his 20s. He is a Chad, a Hungarian Chad. He had no trouble getting all the ass he wanted to back in the 50s. Now, it wasn't among all women, but there was a subset of women that were out there having their fun, right? And I'm sure he had them all. Well, if you wanted to get married and maybe get that younger woman who hasn't been around all over town, you had to put a ring on it. Not so much anymore, Ben. Not so much.
And it's completely destroying the society at large because it's essentially eviscerating, as we say, all of the social bonds that exist absent the federal government. You're now an atomized individual who lives in perhaps consensual relations with a small group of people. And then over time, those ties kind of fall apart. And it's just you, the individual, floating atomistically through society and the federal government. And there's nothing in between because all of the social fabric has been destroyed. Marriage is the most obvious example of this because marriage is the fundamental basis for all society.
Yeah.
The witching hour.
Oh,
When every child
Oh, no.
was in a deep.
Oh, no.
Again, marriage was a social institution.
Yes.
This is why you have a wedding in front of a public, for example.
Yes. I wonder what happened somewhere around 1970. Ben, maybe you could help us understand.
This is why in Judaism, you actually have a document that is signed by witnesses, because it is not merely you have decided to get together with somebody. This has social ramifications. The community has an interest in whether you stay together, for example, with your spouse.
Yeah.
The community has an interest in how you raise your kids. That does not mean that they get to rule how you raise your kids in every aspect, but it does mean that they help define the institution that defines your marriage, that defines your kids. Marriage was always a social institution. Everybody understands this. This has been true throughout human history. Only now have we redefined marriage into sort of a private arrangement between you and the other person.
Excuse me, Ben. It's not a private arrangement between you and the other person. It's between you, she, and the government. That's the problem. See? That's the problem.
And treated it as though you and the other person had sort of like a consensual business arrangement that is not even subject to court oversight.
What? Ben, what are you talking about? Oh, Ben. I mean, I agree with your general principle here. What are you talking about? It has no court oversight. What?
We treat marriage now with the casualness of you and a friend getting together for lunch, and that is not what marriage tradition.
No. Women and young men treat sex as a handshake or getting together to have a drink. Not marriage. You see, Ben, more and more men and women, frankly, are waking up to the fact that marriage is a bunch of bullshit the way it's constructed today. It's a one-sided contract where men always lose. Now, if the conservatives want to change the way this thing is working, they can go ahead and do that, but you never hear a peep about repealing no-fault divorce. Nothing. Zero. Shared custody. Nothing. Alimony goes away. Nope. Interesting.
Traditionally was. This is why
if conservatives were interested in keeping the family strong, wouldn't you think they would do some of those things? Just saying. Wouldn't that be something you'd want to see?
You've seen, for example, the wide acceptance of cohabitation as a substitute for marriage. Because cohabitation is what marriage is now perceived as. If you ask most Americans...
For the legal bits, Ben. See, in most states, you can still live with a chick. I think California, it has to be 10 years and a day, and then she gets half your shit. Common law marriage. Most other states, you can get the benefits of being married without the legal entanglements. Benjamin, come on now. You're a very smart man. You know this. You're a freaking lawyer, for God's sake. Come on.
Now, what's the difference between two people living together and two people who are married?
The contract. The legal obligation of the man. If things go to hell, which they do in a lot of cases, a lot of divorces going on, right? In the case of divorce, the man gets fucked. No matter what. See, then there's a difference, isn't there? If you're living together, things don't work out, maybe you stop caring about each other, whatever, but then she moves out or you move out and you're done. Not if you're married, however. See,
they'd have a very tough time telling you. Now, in the olden days, and I'm talking here like 20 years ago, if you ask people what's the difference between cohabitation and marriage, what they would say is one of these things is they used to literally call it living together in sin. Right? The idea would be that you're living without any sort of social imprimatur for your relationship.
And no legal contract. Ben.
And this is something not good. You want a social imprimatur for your relationship.
Is that the way you say it? I thought it was imprimatur, but okay.
You want a religious imprimatur for your relationship?
He's smarter than I am, so.
You want to be inculcated into an institution because institutions shape and guide you. Cohabitation doesn't do anything of the sort.
Yes, it does. You get the benefits of being married without all the legal bullshit, Ben. Come on, man. Please.
It conveys no commitment. what we've done in this country is that we've essentially gotten rid of that. And so what we see is changing views of marriage, for example. So Pew Research, if you look at they did a study in 2019, marriage and cohabitation in the United States. The share of adults who have lived with a romantic partner is now higher than the share who have ever been married.
Gee, I wonder why. Any ideas, guys, gentlemen? is there any ideas why that might be? D-Man 50. Hey, what's up, man? What's going on? Joshua is here again. Hello. Government destroyed my family. The family. They become elite. Yeah, exactly. Now, Ben, as much as I really enjoy the guy, I really think he's a very, very smart and interesting individual. He's only coming from the side where the marriage part of it is working out for him, right? I believe he's a Jewish man, and so in more of a religious situation, Catholic, Jewish, whatever, you make a vow before God that you're going to stay together, through thick and thin, sickness, health, death do us part, all that other stuff, right? And so people who are assured in their faith, they don't break that vow. So they don't run off and get divorced. They stay together for forever, right? The problem is, Ben, a lot of people aren't all that religious anymore, right? They don't take it as a vow before God. It's more like a big $30,000 party. And the government gets involved. Now, your soul might burn in hell if you get divorced, if you made your vow before God. But that's the afterlife. The current life is men get fucked. You lose your kids. You lose your alimony. You got to pay alimony. Child support, you should pay as your children, right? But if your wife goes out and gets knocked up by a random dude and has a child, that child's considered to be yours in many states. You got to pay for that child too. Plus half the shit, the house. We know the story right now. A marriage contract is a guarantee that men will lose in the current situation. And I don't see it changing anytime soon, Ben. So what you need to do is go to your favorite politician, what have you, and say, hey, here's what we really, I'm a really smart guy. I'm a lawyer, and hey, I believe in marriage, it's a big family thing, and the foundation of the country. We need to do something here about this and see how that works out. See how it works.
Married adults are more satisfied with their relationships and more trusting of their partners. That, of course, is not a shock, as we'll talk about. None of this is actually good for the single ladies. None of this is actually good for the country. It turns out that the happiest women in America are the women who are married with kids.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and so there's a really big reason why, Ben, that the communists want to push abortion and birth control and all that stuff. Go out, live that single life. The longer they can keep women from having children, the more they have them as voters. There, I've said it.
Those are the happiest women in America. That doesn't mean they shouldn't have a job. Doesn't mean they can't work. But if we are trying to design a life path for people, I'm not saying that the government is there to force you into a life path. What I am
No, of course not.
saying is that if we
But
are
feminists, Ben, interpret what you're saying as you trying to force them into doing something. These people do not think like we would normally imagine people would. They don't think that way. Just like Scott Adams said, a 15-week nationwide abortion legal is somehow a ban. These people don't think the way we do. Now, I'm not saying we're necessarily right in everything, but they're whatever their conception of reality is different from our conception of reality. Now, who's right? I guess we'll find out. We like to think we're right. I guess.
To create social institutions that foster human happiness, which is what social institutions are for, we might want to look at the things that actually make people happy. And it turns out that telling women that the things that are most meaningful to them in life, like getting married and having kids, that these things are simple sort of adjuncts to a successful life, that maybe you do them, maybe you don't. They're really not all that important. You can lead just as happy a life sipping wine at age 40, single, alone in your apartment while working 2,200 billable hours at a law firm. You're going to be just as happy as you would be if you had been married for 15 years and you have 3 little kids playing around you and you're working part-time. That does not seem correct.
Okay, well, but I mean, it's obviously, the choice of people. Whatever they want to do is fine. But you'll notice, Ben, if you would, as you're contemplating this, why is it the fembots are actively anti-stay-at-home mother? Why isn't that also a choice women can make? But yet they are against such a thing. In other words, feminism, they claim, wanted choice for women, but only the choice that they want you to make. It's interesting, isn't it?
By any available sociological data, that does not seem correct. And yet that is what many people have been inculcated into. And the institution of marriage has not shaped people. This is why, by the way, women vote differently if they are married and if they are single.
Stop it.
It's for 2 reasons. 1, the subgroup of women who get married tend to be more conservative. And 2, the institution of marriage actually does shape women because your interests change. You're now more interested in how your kids are brought up. You're more interested in your family. Not being ruled by the federal government. By the federal government not getting between you and your kids, or you and your husband, or you and your local community. Marriage actually changes people. You can see that with men, by the way. Right? Men also change. Not as greatly as women do, but they also change. They get more conservative when they get married. So when you undermine marriage in a society, what you end up doing is undermining conservatism.
Yes, Ben, that is correct. And why do you think they want to keep the ladies single as long as freaking possible? Duh.
Not particularly shockingly. Young adults in the United States are particularly accepting of cohabitation, according to Pew. 78% of those aged 18 to 29 say it's acceptable for an unmarried couple to live together, even if they don't plan to get married. The majorities across all age groups now share this view. This is a radical shift in how society has worked.
Not really. No, it's been that way for a long time, Ben. Now, I know you're a younger guy. You're in your 30s, but this shit's been going on for 40, 50 years. This is nothing new.
Since the 1960s and the rise of birth control.
Yep.
Because before that, if you lived together in sin, the idea was that likely you were going to have some sort of illegitimate child, and that would be bad for the kid. And so about the externality of the kid. But that's not really the reason why living together used to be considered morally wrong. It was not just about the kid.
Okay.
It was about the idea that living together without any serious long-term commitment is a sin against the other person. That whether the person consents to it or not, it is not good for them and it is not good for you. That a better thing to do is to put sex within the confines of a committed lifelong relationship. Because this creates trust. It creates bonds. It creates social fabric. It embeds you in time and in space.
Yeah, it does. But see, the problem is, well, I'm not disagreeing, Ben. I'm not disagreeing with you.
These are good things. We've broken all those boundaries. Not religious people, by the way.
Yeah, I know. Yep.
About 3/4 of Catholics, 74% of Catholics, and white Protestants who do not self-identify as born again or evangelical now say that it's acceptable for an unmarried couple to live together even if they don't plan to get married. But if you identify as born again or evangelical, basically if you are a very religious person, you still believe that there is.
Yeah. Look at Baptists, maybe. Certainly Jewish folks, Islamic folks. Yeah. Yeah. Christianity is just forget about it. I mean, it's Christianity went to hell in 1964. So
there's a problem with this sort of behavior. Now, as far as what makes people happier, the answer is that what makes people happier actually is getting married. If you get married, you're likely to have higher earnings. You're likely to have more sexual satisfaction. You're likely...
Really? Okay. Oh, I'm going to go get married then.
To raise your kids in a better way.
Mom and dad, I mean, it's obvious. It's obvious, people. We all know this. Being raised by good parents, mom and dad, or even dad and dad, or mom and mom, whatever. But the traditional, cis family kind of worked for thousands of years. Amazingly, right? That's why we're still here.
The notion that marriage does nothing for you is not particularly silly, but is not particularly true.
What? All right.
What you see is that now,
Getting
here's
beer.
the
Be
key
back.
poll result from this Pew Research poll. Most Americans don't see being married as essential to living a fulfilling life, which is kind of wild. That is kind of wild because that is the most important relationship you will ever have in your entire life is the marriage that you have and the family that you create. And telling people this and inculcating this into people that it's not essential. What's more essential? Having working long hours? Is that more essential? What's more essential? Sexual libertinism? What exactly is more essential?
Yeah, to get laid without consequence, Ben. Yes. That's what's essential. Until she's ready to settle down. It's right there in front of your face, man. Just right there. Michelle Guevara, hello. My mother... Monkey Ranch is in the building. Hello. How are you? Good to see you. Easter Sunday is here. Yeah, not even Tom fucking Brady. Not even Tom Brady. I mean, you know, as close as we have to Superman, and not even there. Amazing.
I struggle to think of a thing more essential than marriage, actually.
Mm.
Only small shares of U.S. adults say marriage is essential for a man, 16%, or a woman, 17%, to live a fulfilling life. 54% say being married is important, but not essential for each. 3 in 10 say being married is not important for a man or a woman to live a fulfilling life. Now, what that really says, by the way, is that Americans are so afraid of being labeled judgmental that they refuse to say that it's actually essential for people to get married. It is essential for people to get married. That doesn't mean that everybody will. It doesn't mean that people can't live lives individually that are the best that they want to choose if they don't get married. But is it an essential? Yeah, it's an essential. I would say having kids is essential to people's lives.
Well, if it's essential, Ben, then you and me and other conservative-minded folks need to get the fucking laws changed. Get rid of all this bullshit where men and women are on equal footing when they get married. There's not a government with big guns and tanks and fucking missiles pointing at the man, blaming him for fucking everything and making him pay for the whole goddamn thing. You come in as equals. You part as equals. There's none of this other bullshit. If you get a divorce, that's it. But of course, that's oppressing women now, isn't it? So let's go to Jedediah B. Jedediah, what is her name? Jedediah. There I go it again. Jeez. Hamster, you idiot. Jedediah Bila, who was talking to Vincent Harnan, who, very interesting fella, really. So let's get that going here. Because what time is it? It's only like 2 o'clock. It's early. And I have 4 beers left. Oh, no. Oh, no. I need to figure that out. I shouldn't be running out of alcohol.
Why call 2 men in a truck for junk removal? If you're like Sarah, you've got a full garage.
Because you got a full garage full of shit that you don't need. Yes.
You need space, and you need it now. You want pros who make this look easy.
There you
That's
go.
why, for junk removal, you call 2 men in a truck. 2 men in a truck.
Yeah. Vincent Harnum. Interesting guy. Go ahead.
So we're getting that house we told you guys about.
Cool.
You're buying a house?
Yeah. Soldiers get VA loan guarantees.
Yeah, no money down.
Cool.
Well, my office gives us free bagels.
Yeah.
That's cool.
There you go. All right. Jed.
And they'll go and they'll stick it on the stove. And then they've got this toxic
Oh my God. Is she a redhead?
cookware that leaches all kinds of toxic chemicals into your food.
Right,
You don't even want to know what's going on there.
My experience, this is what I think it is.
Your recommendation of what someone should do you get extensive pushback from the modern feminist community or the modern left or people who don't maybe want to hear that reality?
Does a bear shit in the woods? Jed?
Yeah, I mean, look, you're always going to get people, but I'm the type of guy, I prefer to just speak calmly and reasonably to people and stick to the evidence. And yes, you're going to get a bit of pushback, but ultimately, a lot of these individuals are very reasonable. So after a long drawn conversation about, well, essentially the statistics and the reality of the situation, they're more inclined to understand what exactly I'm trying to say here. And again, these aren't my opinions. These are the statistics that I'm sticking with. And I'm very careful about the language that I use to ensure that I'm using terms like on average, this is what the data indicates. These are not my opinions. And if I'm stating an opinion of mine, I'm going to say, in my opinion, or from my perspective, in my experience, this is what I think it is.
But I mean, Vincent, you could have a 500-page ream of data supporting your opinion or the facts. Here's the facts. It doesn't matter. It makes no difference. Look at the recent election with respect to abortion. It's now in the state's hands. And what happened? Young women, apparently single females, push the election in certain ways, in ways that don't make any fucking difference. I mean, how hard is this? The states now decide. So if you want abortion in your state, elect the people to your state legislature and the governor who believe in what you believe in. They can pass laws to reflect that. No, 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 no. Joe Biden out there, vote for me, your democracy's over here, women's rights and all this other bullshit. The federal government at this point has nothing to say about it. But again, that's a fact. Vincent, Vinny, yo, hey, how you doing? Vinny, it's a fact. It's not a statistic, it's reality. It's not a federal issue anymore. But no, young single women were propagandized into believing that if they vote for the Democrats, somehow the the sacrament of abortion would be restored to them. Oh my God.
But yeah, there is a bit of feedback that is negative. I do get a lot of positive feedback, I will say as well, both from men and women. And there have been some negative emails and some maybe one or two attempts at cancellation, but it is what it is, right? It's the territory that I'm in. It is what it is. You're just gonna have to deal with it.
Yeah, I mean, you're just bringing the data, right?
Undead
You're not
Chronic
giving
is
me,
what?
this is just about reality.
Don't shoot the messenger.
Wait a minute. Undead Chronic is in the building. Our leader is here. Yes, feminism is satanic. Absolutely. Without question. I think the whole left political movement is fucking satanic. It's demonic shit. It's my opinion on there. So, hey, Undead, thanks for coming by. Good to see you. All right, let's go. Go ahead, Jed.
I'm not trying to harm anyone here.
That's the thing. People can opine, and of course there's going to be outliers. If you're that person sitting at home, I mean, I don't fit into the statistical box in many ways. Fine. I'm sure there are people who don't as well, but we have to be able to talk about the reality of what
her accent reminds me when I was a kid in New Jersey. Oh my God. Look at oh my God.
What's going on. Because, there are some red flags in terms of the decisions people make. And if they're repeatedly landing in a position that they say, well, I would have done this differently, maybe we can kind of provide that data and the next generation of women, men can make different choices if they so choose to do that. It's just
feminism is just another arm of communism. That's it. It always has been from the start.
Just information. I want to ask you about
when they say the patriarchy, they mean capitalism, people. That's what they mean.
Because we talked about education when it comes to men and women. And I'm curious when it comes to women, if they look at that educational status that a guy has and say a guy has the MBA, like you said, great. Say the MBA does better than the BA, fine. Generally. But what happens when that guy who has the lower degree, or maybe doesn't have a degree at all, out earns the guy with the higher degree? What matters more? How much money they make or what their degree is?
It's a great question. So I think we have to keep in mind that education and economic earnings are correlated. So in general, the more educated you are, the more money you have. I think there's a study out of Amherst that says that each additional degree you make about $20,000 every single year on it.
Really? I got to get some more degrees then. I don't know. Chronic, you want to come in? I'll put the link. Come on in if you want to, you bitch. You bastard from
average. But to answer the question very simply is that educational level with a lower income or lower income with a lower level of education, I think income wins, 9 times out of 10.
Okay.
Because at the end of the day, if your degree is in, I don't know, philosophy and you study 18th century poetry and you're a PhD in that, but you're broke and you can't make any money, it's very difficult to provide for a woman, right? At the end of the day, I think
it's difficult to provide for yourself. Oh my God.
A lot of these ladies want to be taken care of.
Excuse me, I have a PhD in medieval French pottery.
Parental
yes, I should be making $100 million a year.
Investment protection provision, that sort of thing. And a PhD in Russian literature.
Yeah,
is
well,
not
I
gonna
mean,
cut
it could be
science.
fun.
Yeah, I have a master's in Spanish literature, and it's largely useless.
Yeah, well, pretty much. Undead Chronic is in the building. Hello, what's up?
Why are we looking at a mummy talk to a coffee bean hamster? Why am I subjected to watch it? Look at her beak. What's the deal with this chick? Are they talking about the election? Are they talking about how dry her puniti is? What's going on?
Something like that. Yeah, yeah. The coffee bean. Jesus Christ.
He looks like a coffee bean. What am I supposed to say? He looks depressed. He looks like he needs to go to the gym and maybe get a dog. He looks so sad talking to this white woman. I'd be this sad too talking to this ancient artifact. This bitch belongs in a museum. Okay? You carbon date this chick? Even T-Rex is like, I've been around since I've been around. I don't know.
Well, it's good to hear you. How's it going, man?
No, is this still election stream? What are we chatting about?
Let me see what the hell is.
You're talking about degrees and money and education. She's just like, well, what if you meet a woman that makes more money without the degree? I'm like, why would I want to meet a woman for her money?
No,
look, there is not a situation in any man's life where a woman is a net gain financially.
Okay.
What, you're going to take her out on dates? You're spending the money. You're going to spend time with her? You're not working. You're going to have kids with her? You got to spend money. You're moving her in? You need a bigger house. No matter whatever aspect of a relationship you are with a woman, unless you're a fucking pimp and you're pimping a hoe out, she is costing you money. So this feminist, or it's really these trad cons, these women infecting just the manosphere, the dating, talking about these things as if they could talk about anything, to be quite frank, is actually kind of fucking hilarious considering how they ruined everything. But the idea that they're just like, well, let's just talk about degrees and money. What if you meet a woman that makes more money than you? If a woman makes more money than you, she's not going to be attracted to you. So they're talking about fantasies, right? Yep. It's like, well, what if you meet a guy that's 2'1"? But no, stop, cut it. Doesn't matter. He's 2'1". You don't care. You're never going to date him.
2'1", huh?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if he's packing that kind of heat down between his legs, she might be interested in that.
Yeah, 2 centimeters maybe.
2.1 centimeters.
I am beyond tired of these women listening to 2 or 3 rolled up tomato Rollo Tomasi podcasts and thinking they actually have something fucking intelligent to say when they never said anything or thought anything intelligent in their entire pathetic lives. The fact that they're talking about relationships when they're wrinkling, turning into late 30s without kids, proves that they are sexual failures. Why the fuck would that Roma Army, Pearly Things, Real Femme Sapien, all these women are sexual failures. Oh, Real Femme Sapien's finally pregnant at the ripe old age of 27 to a dude that's 50. Yeah, you know how slow those sperm are? It's like a fat guy going to the swimming pool to lose weight for the first time. Thing gonna move so slow, kid's gonna come out half autistic, half Down syndrome. Feel bad for the poor kid.
Oh God.
These women all come on. Let's talk about relationships. Let's get monetized by YouTube. Let's get 100,000 subscribers from weak ass bitch made simps that follow Rolled Up Tomato, that follow Fresh and Fit. Oh yes, Queen. Look, a white woman's talking about how single mothers are bad. All the black simps are going to start jacking off in front of their iPads. It's disgusting. These dudes are being led astray. I guess the culture's shifting. I guess we're finally able to talk about these kind of things. But the fact that none of the people who are really talking about these things are getting monetized, it just kind of fucking pisses me off a little bit, hamster. Sorry, I went on a rant.
Oh, no, we love your rants, Chronic. That's why we come here. Tell us what you really think about the situation. That's what I want to know.
I think this chick on the left needs to sell her stupid sign, needs to sell her stupid $40 microphone, find some 55-year-old engineer from India, and pray to God that she has one viable egg left. Who is this bitch? I don't even know her. Roasting her. I should show her respect, but I just can't. I'm beyond showing female dating coaches respect. I've done it before. I don't want to say I've been burned because I never give them money or attention, but I the fact that I don't immediately roast them has burnt me because I miss the time. Time is precious, hamster. The more time I spend not roasting these frauds is jokes that will never be made.
And goth chicks down at the bar you won't be doing. Yeah.
What's this chick? Jedediah
Bila. Yeah.
Jebediah Bila. Do I need to act nice to this chick?
I don't know. I mean, she's all right. She did some streams with Rolo, as you say.
Oh, fucking cool. How did I know? I didn't know anything about this bitch. I already knew that's how she came up.
Yeah. Well, she's on the Valuetainment network with Patrick Bet-David, so that's where she. And I think she was on The View for a while. And you watch The View all the time, don't you? I mean, that's your thing, isn't it?
Look, if I want to watch podcast or informational material about elephant seals a la Whoopi Goldberg, I put on Animal Planet. I don't put on the TV.
Oh, my God. Yeah, I mean, she's okay, but I certainly understand your point. But tell me about Pearly. What's your deal with her?
Oh, no, she's saying all the right things. I just don't trust them. Like what? She's going to be the first of like 100 of these chameleons I've seen. She has to buck the stats. She has to stay. For me, she has to stay consistent for 10 years. I haven't seen one of these chicks stay consistent for a year. So I'm not giving her any kind of props or trust until I see her stay consistent. Consistency is like a snake to a woman's mouse-like nature. They got to run from it. So we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, well, I mean, she just started. I mean, she blew up all over the place. You think it's just
like every woman in the sphere, right? They all blow up and they start selling courses and they get monetized. They start making a ton of money. Whereas the guys in these spaces, they're either frauds selling you courses on how to text girls on Instagram, pussy made bitches, or they get shadow banned or their channels deleted. And the one time one of our boys, Hammerhand, gets monetized, dude pulls in like $5,000 in 2 weeks because his support's there. It's authentic.
Mm-hmm. Really? $5,000 in 2 weeks? Holy shit.
I mean, that's just my guesstimation.
But I mean, you're making big bucks, you evil man. You're a pressing man.
Not on YouTube. Not on this YouTube game.
Yeah.
This shit costs me money. You know how much money I got to spend, hamster, on fucking eye drops because my eyes are drying out, looking at these dried up carcasses of women talking about how to get girlfriends and husbands. I'm torturing myself right here for the Brutus.
I hear you. Yeah, I don't know about Pearly just fucking blew up. And so, you know, the one that went away, though, is this Rebecca Barrett. Do you remember her?
Probably married one of her simps. I don't know.
No, I think she was married to begin with. She kind of went away. I'm not sure what's going on with that. But
I truly believe that none of these red pill female YouTubers, how should I say this? They're doing their children a disservice by this YouTube shit, right? Whether they're rich or not. And they'll all flex. I'm married. Just like the pickup artists flex, I get all this pussy. These chameleons flex, I got a husband. He's dominant. He makes a lot of money. Why are you on YouTube? Are you on YouTube to make money? No, my husband makes a lot of money. Okay, that makes it worse. You're on YouTube for attention. Got a husband, makes all his money. Got no kids. You're on YouTube for attention. I have not yet heard a single new fucking argument from the legion of whores who copied Red Pill talking points. Not a single one.
Yeah. No, I would say that's with respect to Pearly. It's just like she's reading off a list. It's not wrong. It's just there's nothing original, right?
So what are they sacrificing? They're sacrificing their privacy. They're sacrificing their ability to be anonymous. They're sacrificing their children's safety, right? Because they're making themselves targets of the feminist machine. Even though they're feminists are eating each other like a bunch of American land whales throwing elbows into girthy sacks of fat at the lines at Golden Corral. They're starting all going for that male attention. They're putting themselves in danger for what? For what? They don't need money. They're doing it for attention.
53-year-old able-bodied.
So they're putting their kids in danger for attention from men online they'll never meet. That's their motherly love. Fucking perfect. Once you view it like that, you're like, wow, these bitches are completely useless. Completely useless.
Yeah, this is Rebecca. Somebody said she want to have
now
a baby.
identifies as a disabled woman in the.
What's your thought on Candace Owen? This chick.
She works with Ben Shapiro, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, that's all I need to know.
Interview. He stated that he had always wished that he had been born a woman.
Now, Rebecca Barrett, admittedly, she said it herself, was a fucking whore. She was absolutely insane. And I guess she got religion. You don't know anything about this chick, huh?
Are you talking about like the little potato spud up front?
Yeah, this chick here.
Calling themselves. First of all, what the actual F? Okay, let's get into this.
I mean, she admitted it, that she was just a garden tool. Crazy garden
tool. Let me guess, 100,000 subs?
Let me look. 69.7. Okay.
Perfect. She should close the channel down. She got to her favorite number.
Is that your favorite number?
These girls are just these women are just intellectual whores, right? Like they'll keep this grift up, but they're not adding any new arguments. They're not amazing narrators. They got it. Like this chick has a crappy headset on, sitting in her side room reading an article. She doesn't have this chick doesn't even have the decency to put an ad blocker on. So you're getting all these random ass kitten ads all over the article, right? So in 10 years, when there's another 100,000 women just like her doing this, she'll be outcompeted in the market because the only value she brings is a somewhat pretty face repeating mild red pill talking points for dudes to put on in the background.
So I mean, you think it's a grift, really? I don't know if this chick is selling books or something. But
what's a woman's belief mean, right? Like, let's say she believes. Like, do any of these women say? I mean, I guess Pearlie said that women shouldn't vote, but none of them are going to fight for it. Like, if you really think about it, and I say this on YouTube, but people know how I feel on YouTube about this. But I say this in real life too. I don't care about a woman's politics. Why would you discuss politics with a woman? Every single one that I've dominated have changed their politics to fit mine. They do not hold these beliefs strongly, and the ones that do. I'm trying to think. Even the most raunchest feminists I've dated ended up completely 180ing to just be in line with whatever I said.
I mean, it's been said before that women are like whatever they're filled, whatever it happens to be. Because I've noticed that too. Even in my old hamster experience, you know, you go out with a chick and you like sports, or suddenly she likes football and that kind of shit. Is that what you mean?
They just go along with what's socially acceptable.
Right.
So after thousands and thousands and thousands of MGTOW guys get banned, shadow banned, demonetized, thousands of red pill dudes get kicked off of YouTube, have their lives ruined, get doxxed, have the cops called on them. There's enough of a movement of men paying attention to one thing, the fact that women are fucked up. And now that it's socially acceptable, although there's a lot of male attention to get it, now you see the women jumping in on it.
Yeah.
There was that one chick, that one short-haired chick that was around like 5-6 years ago. She get roasted by everybody. But now young, attractive women are starting to see that men are paying attention to this and they want to get in on it. Same thing happens with video games. Same things happens with new social media apps. The men build it. The men build the culture. The women come in, they subvert it, they ruin it.
I don't disagree. It seems like there's an awful lot of these chicks out there, especially lately. Again, Rebecca and Pearlie and what's her face, who was in the army, by the way.
Oh, what's her name? Ali Drummond. Yeah.
Yeah.
She looks like Jafar from Aladdin. She called me fat, so I I made a post talking about how her genetics are shit. Hope she sees it.
She probably will. And probably get all pissed off. Hey, look at this evil man, this toxic guy coming after me. Send me money.
Look, you really want to cut it? Look, Allie, I could go on for 30 minutes roasting you, but what I really want to do is go on for 30 minutes roasting that bitch ass husband of yours and talk about how he's weak. And if my son ever ended up like him, I'd come roll up to his house. He's 50. Chronic's like 80. I'm rolling up on a power chair because I lost loose use of my legs from smoking too much weed in the retirement home, and I'm going to perform an honor killing. Because ain't no way I'm going to let my son marry a 27-year-old barracks bunny with tattoos all over her, talking about how she used to be a hoe. No, that's disgusting. No, that is shame on the family. That is multi-generational shame. Families that care about their legacy, they don't let whores come into their family like that.
Yeah, well, I don't know her background, but I did see the
so she was
tattoos.
married. She was married to a dude. She admittedly in a video said she monkey branched, right?
Yeah,
she was. She said
guy.
she had a hoe phase. She was in the military. So having a hoe phase in the military is like she's at the end of the assembly line at a sausage packing plant. This is what it is. So she left her husband. She divorced her husband to marry a 50-year-old doctor in the military.
An officer.
Yeah. Imagine how weak of a. Because think about this. The only reason that doctor married her is because he only got trash pussy his whole life. I want to roast the dude here. I want to roast a dude. Like, you're a 50-year-old doctor and you're getting with that trash pussy. Oh my God. It's fucking hilarious.
We did that a few weeks ago, though. You remember that? You were probably baked.
No, I definitely have a video roasting him. I just got a random Instagram picture and ripped him a new ass. I got to upload that. I'll take the strike. It's worth it.
Really? You're going to get a strike for that? Really?
Actually, he's a white man, so I should be able to say whatever I want about him. I've never had a video about a white man striked down. Let me think. Yeah, I never had a video about a single white man strike down.
But I do know that women that go into the military tend to be a little bit more libertine, if you know what I'm saying.
Well, you know, the reason they take women up on the airplanes is if a parachute fails, so how many dudes have been in them, they can just open their legs and safely descend.
Oh, God. Oh, you're evil. You're evil. No, I told you about the bitch face, didn't I?
Bitch face.
I'll send you an email. Oh my gosh, she was a Navy chick. Oh boy.
But check this out. Check this out. You won't see a dude that attractive white woman. I say attractive white woman because I see them as the peak of toxic femininity. Like an attractive 19-year-old white woman is like the perfect concentration of entitlement, narcissism, and lack of responsibility. You won't see dudes they're attracted to on these fucking shows. So, and
what about pearly things? I mean, she she has a lot of Islander guys on her show. Is that, you think that's her thing, or what do you think?
I mean, like, look, how do I say this nicely?
Yeah, be careful.
I spend too much time at the gym to look at people like pearly things as anything more than an obstacle in my path.
Okay.
I don't see her as a woman. I don't. She's on the internet full time, getting attention from Sims. She's down at the gym. I don't care. She's not a woman to me. She's not a potential mate. She is an individual. I'll treat her like a man. So like, it's like you telling me. It's like you tell me. I know a white guy that's into these like black island dudes. I'm like, okay, sure. I don't care. Maybe they could put 2 fingers up her butthole. You know, make her look like a chimney. Honk, honk, Santa's here. I don't give a fuck about her.
I mean, actually, I find the guys that she has on her show are actually far more interesting than she is. That's my take on it.
That's not saying much. She's a vessel. I mean, like, think about it. She's just a vessel of information. So, like, dudes that don't hear this before, she serves a purpose. She's a vessel. But, like, it's probably just I'm just salty about the monetization thing. That's why I'm being so mean to these women.
I'd say, yeah. Well, she's a redhead though, so there's that.
She is.
Yeah.
It's kind of a weak redhead. Speaking of which, I was thinking about taking a trip to Ireland here in 2 years. See if I
stay
can,
away from my girls over there, you bastard from hell.
I'll send you some pictures. I'll hold off on the videos this time, though.
All the single friggin' redheads in Ireland. Chronic's gonna find them.
I gotta stay away from Dublin. It's a feminist shithole. But what are these people talking about? Jobs and money making. I want to hear some simp opinions.
You want to hear from her, Allie? You want to hear?
No,
Allie?
not this chick. No. I don't want to hear from Thydor, the third king of the dwarves, with his broad chin and flat nose. Please no.
Oh, you're so nasty. You want people to call in? I can put that.
No, I just wanted to comment on like a point or two from this this Vincent Harini name and Jebediah Bila.
Oh, okay. All right.
Coffee
we'll go back.
Bean and Draugr.
Jesus. You're evil, you son of a bitch. All right, let me find her. Oh, I hear. Hey, you're token up there, bro. Hey, token. Let me hear. Jedediah. Hold on. Jedediah. Bila. I'll go back to her. The science pill, I guess, is what this is called.
They actually named a podcast Science Pill.
Something like that, yeah.
This motherfucking.
What do you know about science, you loser?
I don't know anything. I
know. Yeah.
I mean, I get told by bread tubers all the time. I don't know anything about science. I just look at my degrees on the wall.
That sort of thing.
And
A
I'm like,
PhD in Russian literature is not going to cut it, Sonny.
Yeah, I have a master's in Spanish literature, and it's.
Oh wait, hold on.
The trades for
Stop that. All right, hold on. No, hold on. Stop. Yeah, I'm not as good as you are.
120K a year.
Mm-hmm.
That's okay.
Yeah,
that's okay. You're useful. You can do things around the house, and B, you're making bank. It's not a problem.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And I think that there's an increasing, I think you're going to see in some of these trends, just my personal prediction, that you're going to see an increasing number of people that admire those practical skills over those degrees as we see what's happening in academia. And there's a lot of people that are concerned about the wokeness there. And
I mean, who doesn't like
indoctrination and all
practical
that. So
skills?
different choices in the next couple of decades, I think.
I mean, don't women want guys to be able to fix the car and fix the roof and shit? Is that out nowadays, Chronic? What do you think? That's crazy.
Yeah, tons of women are like, I want a guy that can fix my car. I want a guy who's handy. I want a guy that does this, and this. I'm like, look, I want a woman that will actually birth me some fucking kids. If you're not going to birth me some kids within a year or two of me meeting you, you're just practice. So they can expect all the traditional whatever they want. They don't hold. There's like one thing they need to do. It's just one fucking thing, and they refuse to do it. They trade their most fertile, healthy years to sit in a college class and get taught how to hate men, to rack up degree debt. So like, I don't like, she's like, she's like saying, I'm going to see a trend. You're going to see a trend in college degrees becoming less worth it. Okay. No, I understand. But if she's 22 with a college degree and I'm comparing her to an 18-year-old with no debt. Now the simps won't care. A lot of dudes won't care. Hamster, I've worked too hard to make this money to get these pecs. I fucking care.
Yep. But I mean, by the time they're 22 through college, I mean, it's pretty much over, isn't it? Really?
These people think that a 24-year-old woman with a degree that's been working 3 years is still like a very valuable catch on the market. Okay. I literally see a 23-year-old woman, you know, I think, I'm never having her at 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. That's 5 years. She gave her best to other men, or even worse, sat and let her ovaries rot in a college lecture chair. That's an insult. That's just from a philosophical standpoint, that's really insulting to me. That's telling me you valued your useless education more than the health of our children. That's not the kind of mother I want for my kids. It's a detriment.
I mean, we both went to serious degrees in college. I mean, these women coming out with degrees in associated fucking arts that's not even a fucking deal, is it? You're just spending money to get a piece of paper. There's nothing there you can't learn on the internet, man.
Even an engineering degree, at least an engineering degree is useful. But if a woman gets it, It doesn't make her an attractive partner to me.
No, I'm just saying in general, just the education thing. It's like you're going to get a medieval degree in French pottery. What the fuck? Who cares?
I mean, it's a Ponzi. It's just a Ponzi scheme. The universities got bloated. The federal government guaranteed loans, saddled those young people with debt, and they'll vote the way you want.
Because, I mean, we've both been on campus. We know this shit, right? You go to the engineering side or where the doctors hang out or whatever, and it's like it's a whole different ballgame than the English department. I mean, Jesus. It's crazy.
I mean, I enjoyed the English class I took in college. I only took it because I was forced to.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed it. It was somewhat intellectually stimulating. Now, did I enjoy it enough to have paid for it? Was it $300? It's like $150 a credit hour. So like what, $400 or $500 on my own? No. $400 or $500. I'm buying a couple kegs. I'm throwing a party. I remember that a lot longer than Faulkner's works.
Yeah, what I did was I paid for all the engineering shit, but then like the English and the this and the that was free. After 12 credits, it was free. So I took advantage of that, if you know what I mean.
Well, since you've been in school and I've been in school, it's capitalism is fully monetized the ass fucking of college students. We'll say it like that.
I was in college before you were born, you little shit.
That's true.
That is true.
Yeah, when you were in college, women were somewhat thin. You had to worry about super gonorrhea.
It was a different time. It really was. Back like in the
age 90s. Of the dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Da 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 da.
I mean, the girls were different though. It really was different, 30, 40 years ago. It was just
the girls were acting different, right? But today, those older women, like they're just as damaged as a young woman, if not more, because the feminism affects all of them, right? They're all ruined.
Well, I mean, like I've said a couple times here, when I was in high school, they didn't go out and hoe around like these young girls do these days, but they were still hoeing. They just went to a different town, so nobody knew, right? When we went to church on Sunday, they weren't like, oh my God, she was out hoeing around last night. Nobody knew. They kept it quiet. Now it's like, fuck it. They don't care.
Okay, let's see what Espresso Bean wants to tell this girl.
Think are going to be made by more people than ever before. I want to ask you about, on the issue of income, a couple of studies that you pointed to in your article, Simping in the Sexual Marketplace. One says a study found that marriages where the wife out-earned the husband were 50% more likely to end in divorce. That's one. Two, a study of Swedish couples reported that when the wife contributed 80% or more to total income, the divorce risk was twice as high as when she contributed less than 20%. And men who were not the primary breadwinner were more likely to use erectile dysfunction medication relative to men that were. So expand on this. And if this is in fact true, what does this say about men in particular?
Actually, that's a pretty good mic there. Chronic. That's a Sennheiser. Used to use that on the air.
And what they value
how much
in
does
terms
It's
that cost?
about a $400 or $500 mic.
Okay, let me go to the bathroom real quick. I'll be back in a minute. I can hear though.
Okay, all right.
Of themselves,
Undead
what
Chronic
they value in terms of the money they bring home and that dynamic, that income dynamic in the home.
Right. Those are a set of very interesting statistics on, again, mate preferences among females. And I suppose what the overall message is that women are obviously looking for a man that makes more than them in the relationship. So the notion of economic earnings and who wears the pants in the relationship are, I think, correlated. And
excuse me, monkey wrench. You can't leave. Only Undead Chronic can go take a piss during. I'm just kidding. Douglas Edwards, hello. Good to see you. What's up, Doug? Evo is here. Hi. Michelle Guevara and all kinds of people in the building. D-Man Fitty. All right. Let's go back to Jedediah, the redhead.
And you see, obviously, it's borne out in the statistics where divorce rates are higher, where the woman makes more than the man. And, you would obviously think that there are couples where it works, right? Obviously, there are examples of that. But again, on average, it's obviously the case that economics, that is earnings, who brings home the bacon, and who wears the pants in the relationship are, again, correlated.
I mean, it's psychological shit, really. Who cares who brings the money in as long as we get the money? But it seems that when women make more than men, she's like, this guy's a loser.
Women naturally would seem from these studies, I suppose the researchers don't want
that's socially constructed. It's not reality.
to point to this or indicate
What's the matter
this.
with you?
Trying to be as scientific as possible. They're obviously looking for men who are making more than them. And it's almost like it's very instinctive. So if you are dating someone or married to someone that's making less than you, you view them less. You view them as lower than you if you're female. The opposite is the case for males.
I mean, it's obvious because Jedediah Bila married like a millionaire, right? And that's fine. It's good for her. But I mean, she's not going for the long. Go ahead.
That guy got scammed.
You got what?
That guy got scammed.
But you know what I'm saying? I mean, these women sit here and say, well, it's not really true. It's okay if I make more than my man.
Well, let me ask you, from the perspective of a young man who's very soon to make a fuck ton of money.
Okay.
How do women make a lot of money?
OF, maybe.
That's one way, but let's think of the corporate women. How do they make a lot of money? They go get a degree, right? Affirmative action, whatever. Sure. They get the degree, and then they go up in the workforce, right?
Sure. Yeah.
So they spend years working, right?
Right.
They spend years working like a man.
Yep.
So for a woman to make over $100,000, she's going to spend like at least 5, 6, 7 years working.
I would guess, yeah.
Mid-20s, early 30s. It's too late. I don't care. I simply do not care. Because the time they spend maximizing their career potential, they're minimizing their family creation potential. I only date poor bitches, Hamster. I'd be open to dating a rich bitch, but most of the women I date are not making above $40,000 a year because that's what old women do. And I do not date old women. Old women are useless. They're useless to me.
Now, do you find old women, I mean, obviously they're still equipped for, but it's like this baggage to me. You get a 40-year-old one that just, maybe that doesn't matter to you. I don't know. Just curious what you think.
I mean, I care about baggage, but it's Hamster. Would you ever date a man?
No, I wouldn't.
There's like zero possibility you'd ever date a man, right?
Nope.
Ever marry one?
Nope.
No. Yeah, that's the same with me with women over 25. There's simply no possible realm of existence I would willingly enter a relationship with an old, frumpy, ovary decaying bitch. Zero. I do not look at them like potential partners, but I care about baggage, right? 2 18-year-olds, similar body count, but one chick's body count is being gang raped in a prison for 5 years. Yeah, that's some baggage. I'm staying away from that. But like you say 40-year-old woman, it's like me saying, well, what about this dude who's fit with, you're like, no, just not, can't even think, you can't even imagine that situation.
Oh my God. Primo Living says women make more money in divorce. This Bill Gates' ex-wife, there was a story on Yahoo the other day. Oh my God, this lucky man is dating this woman. Really? I mean, that seems like a woman for you, right? $36 billion. Come on, you are.
I mean, I'd transition to a woman and then divorce her because then I'd actually get some money from divorce court.
You get half of her shit, yeah.
Can you imagine? She donates to all these SJW funds. Can you imagine chronic dates and divorce or marries and divorces Melinda Gates and then just hands out a couple mil to each Red Pill creator? It's like, hey, just make Red Pill content for the rest of your life, please. Thank you.
All right.
Full time.
All right, Jed, go.
And what's interesting to me about this is when I was reading that, I said, oh, a whole bunch of people are going to gravitate toward the opinion of, oh, women, gold diggers, all this stuff like this. There is a segment of the population that will go there. But you throw the caveat in, which I love, which I think is absolutely true. It says the notion that most women are callous resource extractors is inaccurate. They are not necessarily after resources, but rather the primary predictors of resource acquisition, namely intelligence and hard work.
Okay.
So the question is,
go ahead.
Is this guy Indian?
I don't know. I don't know anything about this guy.
Haranam,
yeah. Might be South Asian, sure.
Yeah, Southeastern Asian. Yeah, no, this is just pure projection coat from him. Women are attracted to intelligence and hard work. Okay, bro. Why did all the smart ass, hardworking Indian engineer students I knew in college get absolutely zero pussy?
Yeah, I know. I hear you. I was there.
This guy thinks he's This guy thinks he's red pill. This coffee bean thinks he's red pilled. Don't you know the saying? Women don't care about the race. They wait at the finish line and fuck the winners. Okay, they don't care if you. Oh well, I'm gonna run really fast here in a couple years. Just stay with me and be loyal. It doesn't work like that anymore. You have to have a culture that forces women to match with those men. Their families have to force them. We have sexual freedom now. So women are attracted to resources. They're attracted to the potential of resources. Hamster, I don't want to smoke weed. I want to get in the position where I could smoke weed. Do you want this joint, or do you want to go into this room where there may be a joint?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's they don't have to bet on the potential winner. They don't care till they're like 37. That's the fucking problem.
Pure copium. It's pure copium. Yeah. Some of the smartest man I know is a virgin. Women are nowhere near him. They are not attracted to him. He's a genius. He's gonna make a lot of fucking money.
Yeah, it's like the chess club president, probably a smart guy that nobody cares. Not in high school, not in college. You know what I'm saying?
Look. Let's say I'm making $300,000 a year. And there's a dude that's twice as smart as me. He's really hard working. I'm like here working 20 hours a week, smoking weed every day, but I'm making $300K a year. Who's more attractive?
Who's more attractive? The guy with money and 6-pack abs and a 6-inch and all that.
I'm feeling a lot of women were actually attracted to me because I was smart and hardworking. I just didn't spend enough time in the gym and watch, white dudes like Chronic make tikka masala out of these Indian chicks' pussies in front of me.
Exactly. Yeah. Rip those guts up.
I feel bad. I mean, I would feel bad for this guy, but apparently he's writing articles and he's acting like an intellectual leader in the space that I'm in. So I'm not going to show any sympathy for the simp.
Well, I think this guy is not necessarily red pill. He's like an investor. So he's like a billionaire at this point.
He's a billionaire?
I think so, yeah.
Probably gets no pussy still, though.
Probably.
Are they looking for the money, or are they looking for what that money represents in terms of the kind of guy that they've actually gotten?
Yeah, well, women are a lot like major league scouts or prospectors because in some ways, there's tons of broke guys out there with a lot of ambition that are going places in life that have girlfriends and wives. So a lot of these girls are.
I mean, she's got a kind of a cute smile, though.
This guy's point is like, there's tons of dudes who are broke that have girlfriends, bro. There's tons of fat guys with girlfriends.
Whoa.
There's tons of dudes with 1-inch dicks with girlfriends.
Hey, now.
Okay. You saying there's tons of dudes with no ambition with girlfriend means nothing. It means nothing. Unless you can show me statistics. You can't. You're just talking about the couple friends you knew. Right?
Yeah. Yeah. So I think this dude did write a couple of books, but let's go on here.
Guess here and make a bet on these guys that he'd succeed later on in life, which is how you play the game, right? Not just as a female, but as a male as well. It's how you be a successful investor. It's all about hedging, right? So it's not that these women are gold diggers. Of course, there are, you mentioned, gold diggers out there. But again, it's a matter of.
You ever run into a gold digger, Chronic?
No,
never do that.
I never put off signals of massive wealth.
You drive the
I'm not lifting
the 1999 Toyota.
I'm not lifting in Gucci shoes, right? Like I got a nice leather jacket, but like bitches don't know anything about leather.
No, nobody knows anything about anything at this point.
I'm looking at a new bike, but I'm not buying a new Harley. I'm not doing that.
You got to buy an old used one?
Yeah.
What are you gonna get?
I don't know. We'll see what's on a good sale, but like, I don't put because like you don't meet a lot of gold diggers that are. I hate the fake white woman look. Right? They all have the same look. The fake hair, the Kate Dawn makes it makeup. I've always hated it. Like I don't like sorority girls. I like the alternative type of girls. And they're the ones just crazy enough to actually want to, be attracted to your personality or your banter, as opposed to let's go to dinner for $100 whatever plate. I haven't been on a dinner date since high school.
Really?
Like I'll take a girlfriend or like a significant other out to dinner, but I'm not taking a girl I'm not dating on dinner. I refuse. Absolutely refuse. It's coffee date, walk, dick in her ass. We're dating.
So
there's no dinner there.
So you're like mini golf and go smoke some weed or whatever, that kind of thing. Go look at the stars, that kind of
Take
stuff.
you to the range, see if guns scare her.
Yeah, that seems reasonable. I mean, it's inexpensive and you get to know each other. I don't have a problem with that. But I guess chicks do. You got to get me out there.
But the chicks that have problems with that are like 24, 25. They've been run through. So like just my selection process of age cuts out so much of this bullshit. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
I got to deal with other things, right? I got to deal with chicks just like, I think I'm agendered today. The fuck does that mean? But like, I don't got to deal with a chick demanding to go to 500. I'd rather convince a tomboy that she's not a boy and just a girl who likes to wrestle in the mud than convince a entitled zinc crusted 26-year-old borderline obese white whore that she doesn't deserve a purse every week. I don't even. Again,
I mean, why
it's
is
like
that
it's like dating a man. I don't look at them as actual partners.
I mean, why is that even a big deal with the girls? This bag shit, like the Hervey bag or some crap. It's a fucking purse. Jesus Christ.
Well, they're just showing their friends. They're showing other women that
men can do something.
They have access to men's resources.
Yeah, I think so. All right, go ahead.
Prospecting and being married to someone that you see down the line will be a good father and a provider.
So I want to ask you about who's picky in the sexual marketplace. And I often say that women are getting very picky in terms of what they want based on, a lot of the videos we show. And
do you think, Jed? Do you?
Whatnot. What's interesting when it comes to just physical appearance alone.
Yeah.
Interesting study you point to, a study on.
I mean, I have to beat them off of the bat. I don't know. Chronic. I'm sure you have the same problem. I mean, these girls are just coming all the time. Got them on my porch over here. They're hanging out by my car. Oh my God, a 2008 Honda Accord. Fuck me now.
Gets too cold where I'm at for the thoughts to be walking around mini skirts.
That sucks. Yeah. Well, it's like 30 degrees here in St. Louis. Go on.
Tinder. And it says, according to a study on Tinder, whereas men liked 60% of female.
But if it's cold, they have perky tits. What?
Profiles they viewed. Women liked only 4.5% of male profiles. Moreover, women on average viewed 80% of men on dating apps as below average in attractiveness. One study determined that the bottom 80% of men, and we're just talking about physical attractiveness here, are competing for the bottom 22% of women. And the top 78% of women are competing for the top 20% of men.
At least Jet doesn't have those can't wipe your own ass nails. I mean, I appreciate that. So, Chronic, are you on Tinder or anything like that? How's that working out?
My work's too busy. I don't got time for dates right now.
I don't have time for that shit. Yeah, I hear you.
I mean, I'll go to a goth bar I'll go to a goth bar like once a month, and I'll, probably like half the times I'll pick up a chick. I got a couple girls I can hit up, I'll hang out with, but I'm not trying to date new women. I'm trying to finish the rest of my career training.
And by the way,
move out of here.
But I mean, have you used like Tinder and all that? Or,
I've used it. Yeah, I've used it.
It's like, all these girls and you get a good response or not? Or is it similar to this?
I mean, even like the tallest, most attractive dudes I know will not get, they'll get rejected by average chicks because,
really?
Well, I don't like how his hair is blonde. I don't like, that. Tinder allows women to be or dating apps have allowed women to be so picky. It's destroyed them mentally. Like I don't, whenever people come at me talking about pornography addiction, I'm like, sure, it's a problem, but I'm not going to address it until you start talking about social media addiction for women because it's more damaging in my opinion.
I would have to agree. Yeah.
And the dating apps are like the pinnacle of that attention. Right. Yeah. But look, if she's on a dating app, she's not wife material.
Really?
100%.
There's got to be some. There's got to be some women out there.
I used to kind of be where you're at, but I've seen enough of my friends get girlfriends and wives off these dating apps. I've had enough girlfriends off these dating apps. I've met enough girls who use these apps, and I'm just like, you know what? It's like the poison Skittle analogy, right? There's 100 Skittles. One of them won't kill you instantly. The other 99 will. Are you going to reach in and buy the Skittle?
Yeah, it's the other way around, but I get your point. Yeah.
No, not on dating apps. It's 99 will kill you.
Now, hey, young man, I've been on dating apps since you were like 5 years old. I know. I'm with you. Yeah.
Hamster was sending smoke signals out. It's like, what cup size
That's right.
are you?
I had a horse and everything in a carriage. Wells Fargo carriage or something.
When I say women are picky, I'm saying guys are picky too. Don't get me wrong, but I'm talking on the issue of physical attractiveness. And this, anyone who lives in life will know this to be true. Women are very picky. What does that do to the selection process that they ultimately wind up being able to look at the end? And how are we all not clawing at each other at the eyes, given how picky we are?
Okay, pause it.
Look, again, the thing.
Yep. Okay. Coffee.
Okay.
Go ahead.
We'll address that, and then I'll bounce because I really don't want to see Mr. Low Testosterone Coffee Bean give his shitty opinion on this. Because as someone who has not been selected by women, I don't think he has any fucking idea what he's talking about.
Okay.
So why aren't we just clawing each other the eyes? Lady, do you pay attention to any news? You see all these hopeless young men with no prospects eating up schools. You see the suicide rates, the drug overdose rates of men. You see how many, I think half of women are on antidepressants now. I think it's half. Marriage rates are declining like crazy. The fertility rate's tanking. And she's like, how are we not killing it? Look, you live in a bubble. Women live in a bubble. They live in the bubble of their own personal lives, which is why they are not fit to make cognizant points on large-scale social movements, politics, war, economics. So, like, they can't make new observations or points. She's like, why aren't men and women clawing each other the eyes? I mean, look, I see these studies showing so picky. She can't take new information. We ask any of the Shield Wall, any of the Warband, any of the guys talk about this. Hamster, do you think that the male-female dynamics are in a disastrous state right now in the West?
Absolutely. It's nuclear. Yeah. It's nuclear meltdown shit. Yep.
It's melting down. But she got her husband. She has her nice little studio in her house, and she thinks she's going to stay safe because the little piggies with their 9 mils are going to roll up and defend her no matter what. No, that's not going to happen. So, what about how has this selection affected women? They get older, they don't pair off, they don't get married, they hit the wall, and they suffer. That's what happens. Like, even if 20%, even if you get all the chats, top 20% of men commit and marry a woman, let's just say 70% are looking at them. So what? Half of all women will not get a husband. And that's the average to above average women not getting husbands. At the end of the day, they deserve it. They deserve to be alone. They make their choices. They deserve to be alone. They deserve every night scrolling through Instagram and Facebook, looking at their more traditional conservative cousins, sisters, and friends, posting pictures of their children while they cry into their wine glass, thinking about Chattis Rex III, who smashed her pussy 10 years ago, but didn't give her a ring. They deserve that misery. And women live longer than men. Good. They need to spend more years alone thinking about how much they fucked up their life. Now, going on to the more positive aspects, she says men can be very picky too. Yeah, sure. The top 20% of men can be extremely picky with cup size, with, how skinny she is, how chubby, whatever it is. Now, people say all the time, Chronic's very picky. Hamster, do you think I'm very picky with my standards?
You just need goth redheads.
No, I'm very I'm very selective, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
18 to 23, 24. 24 is cutting it close. Let's say 18 to 23. Virgin. Just those two things, I will get called the most picky, selective,
fucking man, yeah.
unrealistic person ever. Sisters will call me it. Cousins will call me it. Parents will call me it. Friends will call me it. And they'll all kind of like grin and be like, oh, this guy's, his standards are crazy. Okay. Here's the difference between those standards and female standards. Women wants 6 foot plus 6 figures. Let's just say that 6 foot 6 figures. I want 18 to 23 virgin. You know what the difference between those two are, Hamster? Every single woman at one point in her life met my standards.
Really?
Yeah. Crazy.
Wow.
I haven't heard of an instance of a fetus having sexual activity before birth. I've never heard of it. I don't want to hear about it. I mean, I'm sure there's some trans literature on it, but I don't want to hear it or read it. And every woman, it gets to the age of 18 to 23, albeit any accidents that happen. So every woman could have met my standards. Could have.
Yeah.
Just look at the height standard.
I mean, just look at
80% of women on Bumble, right? So another app data, 80% of women are looking for men who are not even 6 foot, 6'3" and taller when they're given the choice. So at least me, Mr. So picky and choosy, at least every woman could have met my standards. 80% of men will never meet their standards.
No, that's true.
So, I don't, and like, look, the women who get pissy about my standards, they're the ones that don't meet them. So I don't care what they have to say.
Exactly.
And I'm not telling my if I'm going into a interaction with the woman where I'm like, okay, go to the range once a week and go to the club once a month to practice your stroke game.
Sure.
I'm not telling them my standards.
Yeah.
I'm not telling them my political beliefs. I'm not telling them anything. I'm wearing a mask. I'm doing what they do. If I just want to use them, because they wear a mask to use men.
And obviously they agree, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm usually the one that doesn't agree. They want me to like make them choke them till they pass out. I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. I'll put a hand around the neck, but I'm not making you turn blue.
Hey, Chronic, before you go, Feminism Debunk wants to talk to you. Hello, Feminism. What's up? Australia.
Oh yeah, we've had a crazy thing happen this week. A Sri Lankan cricketer has been accused of rape, and in what even Channel 7, which is a fairly feminist network called Extraordinary, they have denied this man bail. The court case was done at a closed court, and and they've suppressed all details from the public, so the public aren't allowed to know any of the details. And this guy has to sit in court for another 66 days until they can hear his case.
If I wasn't an American, if I lived in Australia, the UK, probably actually not the UK. Australia is, when it comes to this kind of stuff, it's probably worse than the UK. But if I was in Australia, I would be like a MGTOW monk. I would not give them the chance. I'd be out in the outback with some kangaroo Buddhas, smoking some, outback weed, not touching women in Australia.
I mean, can you smoke koala bear like eucalyptus leaves? What the hell do koalas eat down there? I'm sure Chronic, if it's possible, he could smoke.
I think it's eucalyptus. No, the koalas would be super pissed at me because I'm rolling my weed in the eucalyptus leaves. They're looking hungry. Time to go on a diet, koala bitch.
Kangaroos would be pissed too, probably. I mean, who wouldn't be? You're Undead Chronic, after all. I
mean, look, dude, like in Australia, you guys threw people in COVID camps and like sent like helicopters after them if they tried to escape.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
That's the power of the state. As the government becomes more feminist and extremist feminist, they're going to use the power of the state to enslave men.
Is that true? Feminism Debunked. What the hell is going on in Australia?
It's getting pretty crazy here. But what's happened this week to this cricketer, this would not have happened 5 years ago. He would have. There's no evidence against him other than it's a he said, she said situation. This woman had been talking with him on a chat site. They went out for dinner. She's then invited him back to the to her house. Things haven't gone her way, and she's called rape. And this guy now, his cricket career is over. It's going to be almost impossible for him to get back into the Sri Lankan national team, and all on the basis that he's made a woman angry at him.
What is this man's name? Feminism?
It's a hard one to pronounce. Give me a second.
I'm gonna bounce out of here, Hamster.
All right, Chronic. Hey, we'll
Danishka
this weekend, right?
Yeah. Hey, I'll
right.
stream later. Peace.
All right, take it easy.
Janishka Gunatharetta.
Okay.
He's the opening batsman of the Sri Lankan cricket team, so he's a pretty big deal.
Could you paste it in the chat, sir?
Yeah, probably the best thing. I'll paste you what Channel 7 said about it, because Channel 7 called it extraordinary. Even they are surprised that all the details of the case have been suppressed from the public.
So this guy is accused of raping a woman.
Yes. No, she invited him. I think it's hard to know the details because they're going out of their way to hide the details from the public. But they'd been chatting on a dating app. They've then gone out for dinner together. She's then invited him back to her house. She's then claimed that he's sexually assaulted her 4 times.
4 times, okay.
Yep, and the Sri Lankan team this is at 1 o'clock in the morning, are heading to the airport to go back to Sri Lanka, and the police have arrested this man in front of his teammates, in front of the media, just a matter of hours before he was meant to be going back to Sri Lanka. So I would say it's been rushed. They've done it knowing that if he went back to Sri Lanka, they probably wouldn't be able to get him back. But I mean, I don't even think the man's a flight risk. If he had have gone, if he runs now, then he can't play international cricket again. And he can't just go back to Sri Lanka, and he's going to be recognised. This guy is very, very, very well known in Sri Lanka. I mean, the O.J. Simpson trial, this would be the equivalent in Sri Lanka. This cricketer.
So he's a cricket player.
Yeah, the opening batsman for the Sri Lankan cricket team.
Okay.
So in Sri Lanka, this guy is as famous as they get. He couldn't go back to Sri Lanka and blend into the public. Everybody knows who he is. I've just sent you a link though to what Channel 7 said when Channel 7 called the suppressing of the details extraordinary. Can you see that?
You can say anything you want. Absolutely.
Yeah. Now, can you play though the Channel 7? It's only 25 seconds, but Channel 7 talk about how they think it's extraordinary that the details of the case have been suppressed from the public.
Can you put the link in the chat?
Yeah, I'll just put it in the chat. Chat with everyone in the studio.
Sure.
Can you see that?
Yeah, just put it in there. That's fine.
Yeah.
All right. Otherwise, how are things going, sir?
Going pretty well. We've still got non-stop promotion of the other big case at the moment is the Brittany Higgins trial. The media just are in love with Brittany Higgins.
I saw that. Yeah.
Grace Tame.
Grace Tame. Excuse me. I do not get Grace Tame. What the fuck?
It's amazing.
It's
just bizarre.
Yeah, just put it in the put it in the real chat, not the side chat. I see it over here. Okay, I got it.
Yeah, that's the Channel 7 news.
I got it. Yeah.
Yep.
1 second. Oh, I think I saw this one. Yeah. All right.
So it's not just the anti-feminist type like me saying this is crazy. It's the mainstream media even saying you can't do that. You can't suppress the details of the case from the public. Because they obviously know that if the public know the details of the case, they're going to be saying, "What? How does this man not have bail?"
The court made the extraordinary move of suppressing all details in the profile case. Sri Lanka's cricket association.
So this man is accused of rape?
He's accused of rape. It hasn't been proven, but he's going to sit in a jail cell for the next 66 days.
66 days.
66
is that
days,
Australian law or what is that?
Well, that's my point. Normally, this man would be out on jail. This time, before
like on bail or whatever. Yeah,
he'd be out on bail. There's no doubt about it. Before Brittany Higgins and the March for Justice, non-stop campaigning, that Brittany Higgins came out and said that it's a national shame that there's so few convictions for rape. They're demanding a higher rate of convictions for rape.
Okay,
and to me, this is just an example of the police and the court system are buckling to the pressure of Brittany Higgins, Grace Tame, and this March for Justice movement. They've got so much power, and literally everyone's scared of them. But this.
Well, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
This is meant to be a country where you're innocent until proven guilty. This man hasn't been proven guilty, but he's sitting in a jail cell.
But I mean, if the guy is proven guilty, I think we all agree he should go rot in jail somewhere. But we're not talking
100%.
about that. This guy is just just accused of something.
Exactly, and that's enough to have his whole career ruined. I mean,
is it? You think it's unusual, feminism, for a star like this in cricket or football or whatever to bag women? Is that unusual?
No, definitely not. This guy, I think, had a bit of a reputation actually. During the COVID lockdowns, he was, I think, him and a few other Sri Lankans got in trouble for sneaking out to go and see women at night time. But that's not really the point. There, the point is that he hasn't been found guilty of a crime, but he's sitting in a jail
of course
cell.
not. Yeah,
and
exactly.
I can't find another example of this happening in this country where the details of the case have been suppressed from the public and someone's been denied bail like this. To me, this is just... And the thing that gets me is this is a man worth millions of dollars. He's got the full support of the Sri Lankan Cricket Board. If he can't get bail, what chance does a normal guy on a normal,
zero
average wage have? Nothing. He's no chance. It's just... And I'm often asked, why do you talk so much about Grace Tame, Chanel Contos, Brittany Higgins? It's because these people have got so much power and they're putting so much pressure on the police and on the courts and even the politicians. Like Brittany Higgins is giving advice to the politicians, to the Prime Minister. Grace Tame is having meetings with the Prime Minister. I mean, Grace Tame is uneducated. She's educated in yoga, and she's advising the Prime Minister on law reform. Now, that's why I'm constantly calling them out and constantly getting the public to call them out. I mean,
let's put out the story. Higgins, I believe, she claimed she was raped by somebody in the parliament. Is that right?
Correct. She, a political staffer and advisor to the Prime Minister, they were out together. They were seen kissing. Brittany Higgins was drunk to the point of being blackout drunk.
Okay.
She was kissing this man. She's then broken the rules of the parliament and gone back into the parliament after hours. So she's done the wrong thing. That by itself is enough for her to be terminated from her job in the Liberal Party. He's also broken the rules and gone into the parliament out of hours. Right. So he was of course sacked for breaking that rule. She wasn't. So they've both broken a rule. One was sacked, one wasn't. She's then claimed rape. And then the feminist movement have used it as a way of saying, see, this is proof Australia is a rape culture.
Patriarchy and
Even the parliament's not. Even the parliament isn't a safe place for women to be. Even the parliament's a rape culture. So they've had this great big march for justice, and this is where it becomes even more extraordinary, because of this one march for justice. The Prime Minister of Australia, who's meant to be a right-wing conservative, who the feminist movement hate, started a Prime Minister for Women, a Minister for Women's Economic Security, a Women's Safety Task Force, and he even started this ridiculous thing where there's a complaints line for women in Parliament who are the victims of a sexual abuse. So he's done all of this because of one protest march. It then gets even more extraordinary. On live national television, Grace Tame and Brittany Higgins gave an hour-and-a-half speech. And the day before they were due to this, the Prime Minister's panicked and made an apology in Parliament to Brittany Higgins. This is before this case even went to court. So he's apologising to a person that hasn't even had their day in court yet for an alleged rape. I mean, it's just hard to believe this is happening here. And it's not even... And it wasn't just the Prime Minister, but the deputy, the shadow Prime Minister, who is now the Prime Minister. So Brittany Higgins was apologised to from 2 Prime Ministers in one day before her case went to court. Are you still there?
I'm still here. I couldn't find my button, so I'm sorry.
Oh, good, yeah. So yeah, she's.
Go ahead. Sorry.
So she's had apologies from 2 prime ministers. The whole media is calling her an inspiration. And then I don't know how much you know about the actual court case.
No, go ahead, please.
In April of
this brave, leader of the March for Justice requested for the court case to be ended early because she couldn't handle the being questioned in court. She's so used to having easy questions from journalists and being praised by politicians. When she was in court being asked a hard question, she absolutely couldn't handle it. And now the court case is being called off because a member of the jury was caught doing their own research, which meant the whole court case is closed down, and they're going to start again next year.
So tell me about Grace Tame. She also alleges rape in the parliament, or what's going on here?
No, Grace Tame is a girl who, at the age of 15 and a half, had a 6-month-long sexual affair with her school teacher, who was 58.
Okay. All right.
So she claims... So it's just quite bizarre to me. So she knew the man was married, but she chose to have sex with him. She started off... She told the police it happened between 20 and 30 times over a 6-month period. She now says she was raped nearly every day for 6 months on the floor of his office.
Okay.
So the story's changed. It's a big difference, isn't it? Nearly every day for 6 months to 20 to 30 times. Now she says that she was only raped on the floor of the office, but the court transcript clearly states that there was different houses in Hobart. There was hotels in Hobart. But I guess on the floor of the office sounds a lot worse, doesn't it?
Well, I mean, hotels in Hobart, I mean, that could be fun. Who knows?
Yeah.
But, I mean, not a 15-year-old girl. So, I mean, she's claiming she was 15.
No, she was 15 and a half. So the guy's clearly broken the law. But the point is that he's done the wrong thing. He's gone to a maximum security jail for, I think, 2 years and 10 months. So, the longish sentence. He's done his time. But she has become this Australian icon. She was named Australian of the Year. Which to me is just an embarrassment.
That from you, actually. Yeah, I heard that.
To me, makes me feel embarrassed to be a country. This is the greatest thing that this country has to offer, is that a girl that had an affair with the man she knew was married. In most of Australia, the age of consent is 16. In 2 states, it's 17, which feminists fought hard to get it up to 17. So in most states of Australia, she's only 6 months off the age of consent anyway. But she's gone on to make millions of dollars out of this. She's written a book, and in the book she talks about joining a sugar daddy website. She claims that her parents are working class. Her mother was a newsreader.
I heard your stories about that. She's not working class. She's elite, for sure.
Yeah, father played professional cricket.
Yeah.
Stepfather was a CSIRO director. They showed a story on the ABC where they're on the family yacht. But just the media, nobody in the media will call these lies out, and they're so obvious. But it's interesting because everybody that I speak to, even people that don't identify as being anti-feminist, they can't stand her. So there's this real disconnect between the general public can't stand the woman, and the media and the politicians just think she's amazing. Like, it's not just the left side of politics, it's all sides of politics and all sides of the media. So it's just, to me, actually, Milo Yiannopoulos always says that the only feminists left are politicians and journalists. I think Grace Tame is a good example of this, because the only fans that woman has are journalists and politicians. The general public just find her obnoxious.
But I mean, if she was a child when this happened, I mean, clearly the man should go to jail. I mean, that's illegal.
Well, that's the other interesting thing. I don't know what it is in America, but the definition of a pedophile in Australia is someone who was molested under the age of 13. She was 15 and a half. So the charge wasn't pedophilia. The charge was maintaining a sexual relationship with a person under the age of 17. So
yeah, in the U.S. we call it statutory rape.
Yes. Yeah.
So if you're under a certain age and you're too much of an age above that, it's statutory rape.
Yeah,
but I mean, still, I mean, it's possible this woman was abused. We don't know.
Well, she definitely was. She was a victim of having a relationship when she was under the age of 17. It's definitely a crime, but it wasn't a pedophilia, because pedophilia, by definition, is 13 or under. she was 15 and a half. So that's just a deliberate lie, because she wasn't the victim of a pedophile. She was the victim of someone who had a relationship with her sort of 18 months before she would have been of legal age.
But I mean, overall, it's just she made a bad decision.
She made a bad decision. He made a bad decision and paid for it. He paid
Of
a
course,
big penalty for it.
Yeah, as he should. Yeah.
And he's admitted, he's saying, I've done the wrong thing, but I'm not going to cop her saying that I'm a pedophile when the judge didn't do that.
She's claiming the man was a pedophile.
She said on live Australian television, I was raped on the floor of his office by a pedophile every day, nearly every day for 6 months. In her book, she refers to him as being a pedophile over and over and over again. But if you read the court transcript, the word pedophile or pedophilia isn't used once. It was maintaining a sexual relationship with a person under the age of 17.
Now, do you think this whole thing, and somebody put a comment here, does this come from the old-fashioned way? Women are always innocent. They're a victim of some man somewhere. Like they have no agency. I think that's bullshit.
It's definitely a part of it. I think the reason why they've picked Grace Tame out of all the sexual assault survivors in Australia is because they are lobbying and have been lobbying for a long time to get the age of consent from 16 to 18.
Okay, fine. Go 18. Then what? What happens then?
Well, I think what will happen is what's happened in America, where you have thousands and thousands and thousands of men going to jail and being put on sexual register offender list for life, who have had relationships with girls who are 16 and 17. That's the goal, because they want more convictions, but you can't do really anything to get more convictions for guys that are molesting people under the age of 13, but you can get a lot more convictions 16 and 17, and that's what they're gunning for. And that's why they picked Grace Tame, not a girl that was molested when she was under the ages of 13.
Like, yeah, I mean, everyone would agree, like 12 or 11 or something. Yeah, I mean, that's sick shit. But 16, 17, come on now.
Well, that's the thing too. That's a lot more common. It's a lot more common for guys to have illegal relationships with girls who are 15, 16, 17 than what it is for people to molest people under the age of 13. So that's why they're so focused on Grace Tame.
Yeah, well, she was 15 and a half, though, you say.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why they're focused on Tame, because the message is that the guy that has the sexual relationship with a 15-year-old, he's every bit as bad as the guy that molests the child that's 3 years old. That's their message, that Nicholas Bester is a pedophile, and he is no better than the person that violently rapes a child who's 3 years old. That's their message, and that's what they want people to see. And I'll tell you what's really interesting, because I'm pretty much the only YouTuber that's just on about Grace Tame constantly, I get more emails from women than I do men about this, and they're mostly women who were sexually abused when they were under the age of 13, and they think it's outrageous that it's even compared their abuse where they were raped. I've had girls and who are now women email me, and they are just outraged and disgusted that the media is comparing them being raped over and over and over again when they were like 3, 4, 5 years old with a girl that had a relationship when she was 15 and a half. It angers them more than it angers anybody. And that's what's really surprised me, is that the women seem to dislike Grace Tame more than what the men do.
Well, it's this conflation of shit, right? It's the same thing. No, it's not. No.
Yeah. And the people that appreciate that the most are the children that were molested when they were under 13. They're the ones who get really angry about it, because to say that Grace Tame going to a 5-star hotel and having sex at 15 and a half is as bad as the 3-year-old being raped while she's screaming and crying, it's just appalling. It's just, to compare the two is outrageous.
Yeah. That's what they like to do, though.
I actually had a guest on who actually contacted me because of Grace Tame. This is a woman who actually worked with Grace Tame to have a law changed in Tasmania so that survivors could speak and tell their story. This woman was kidnapped and gang raped. They were then driving this woman.
Jesus Christ, she was gang raped? Oh my God.
She was gang raped. And then they were driving her, and they're going to make her dig her own grave. And this woman cannot stand Grace Tame. She worked with Grace Tame, and Grace Tame, this is where it's interesting too. They changed the law. The campaign was called Let Us Speak. There was 18 of them, and they were all campaigning to have the law changed so that victims could tell their story. They were banned from telling their story. What's happened now is that Grace Tame, they've changed it to Let Her Speak, and the media is telling a story that Grace Tame single-handedly had this law changed. It's a complete lie. She was only one of 18 who changed the law, but she's taking 100% of the credit for it. And the Let Us Speak, women aren't happy about it.
I mean, is this a big thing in Australia? Like,
It's
13, 14-year-old girls getting raped? I mean, Jesus Christ.
No,
Really?
I don't think it is. This is my point, though. Janelle O'Connor's story is rare. So the feminists know that they can't. Their goal is to get conviction rates up, is to get more men in jail. So telling the story of Janelle O'Connor, who was a seriously big-time victim, doesn't help their cause of getting more men into jail. What is more common is the girls like Grace Tame that have relationships when they're 15, 16, 17. So they really want to change the laws, make it easy to get those guys into jail. And then, that's their goal. They want higher rates of conviction. And that's what they're, as Brittany Higgins said outside of court, which, by the way, was a contempt of court. The judge said to the judge closed the trial down and said, we're going to have another trial next year, or the possibility of another trial next year, warned everybody not to talk about it. So literally moments after the judge has warned them, do not talk about this to the media, Brittany Higgins goes out and talks to the media and gives this pre-prepared long spiel about how the system was against women and it was too hard to get convictions for rape, and it was a national shame how few rape convictions there are. So she's just blatantly breaking the law, contempt of court, and of course she wasn't charged for that.
To expand our understanding of this heinous crime, in particular the grooming process through both formal and informal education. Number 3, how we provide a consistent national framework that supports survivors and their loved ones, not just in their recovery, but also to disempower and deter predators from action.
Yeah, the thing about survivors, it seems pretty nebulous, the definition of that. What do you think?
Oh, definitely. Well, Grace Tame, the reason why Grace Tame went to the police was because Nicholas Bester wouldn't leave his wife. Grace Tame going to the police was a revenge attack because Nicholas Bester said, no, I'm not leaving my wife for you. So she got revenge by getting him sent to jail.
But I mean, excuse me, the law is you don't fuck 15-and-a-half-year-olds. So this guy he's doing bad things.
Nobody's saying that Bester shouldn't have gone to jail. I'm not saying that. He's not. Even Nicholas Bester's not saying that. But
I mean, right. I'm just saying. I'm pointing it out. Go ahead.
But the point is, you can't compare. And the law actually states this, that raping a child under the age of 13 is a more serious offense than having a relationship with someone who's 15, 16, or 17.
Right. Sure. Yeah.
This is where the feminists become angry. They're saying that it's as bad. The guy that has consensual sex with a 15, 16, 17-year-old, he's just as bad as the person that violently rapes the 3-year-old.
Right.
And this is something that the vast majority of the public don't agree with. But because of the intense pressure from these powerful people like Grace Tame, Brittany Higgins, Chanel Contos, the media is bowing to this pressure, and so are the politicians. This is why people like Grace Tame are so dangerous. I don't think that people, even in the anti-feminist community, get just the level of power that they have. They've got extraordinary power here.
I think who is a man, agrees that? Oh my God, it's hard to even say. Who agrees that a man should take advantage of a child? I mean, what the hell? It's ridiculous.
Nobody does. They want,
except the feminists believe we all do. It's crazy.
Exactly. Yeah. Their basic thing is that it's too hard to get a conviction for rape, and I think this is kind of what's happening with the Sri Lankan cricketer. They're probably not going to be able to get him sent into jail because there's no evidence that he's committed a rape. But what they can do is they can make him sit in jail for 3 years without bail.
Yeah.
So they can't get him convicted, but they can still have him sitting in jail for 3 years, which will end his cricket career and will end any chance of him getting work as a cricket coach or a cricket commentator or anything like that. So they're still going to get him, even if they can't get a conviction. So they're going to get him one way or another, because hashtag believe all women. Women don't lie about rape.
I mean, just being men here, you're a man. Do women really believe that men are just out to rape them?
The vast majority don't. The same way as the vast majority.
I don't think so. Yeah.
Don't
I
support
agree.
Grace Tame. But the problem is the people in power do think that. Or a lot of them, I think a lot of the politicians know Grace Tame's a liar, but they're not allowed to say it. Because if you're in any political party in Australia and you come out and say Grace Tame is lying, you'll be sacked from your job. You'll be out the door so fast.
Yep.
And the media outlets are the same. The right wing, the left wing, the in-between, they all know they can't say anything negative about Grace Tame because they'll be sacked.
Yes, they'll be canceled and all that stuff. Yeah.
So this is the problem. And I think the thing about Grace Tame too is she's got a lot of... are you aware that she was married to a movie star?
No, I didn't know that. No.
The guy from, what's his name? Spencer Breslin. She was married to Spencer Breslin.
Spencer Breslin. Okay.
Yes, that's who she was married to.
What movie has he been in, sir? Sorry.
He was the star in Cat in the Hat. He has got... Actually, I'll go through it for you. Yeah, he's been in a heap of movies. So this is a good... But what's interesting is the media talk about Grace Tame nonstop, but they tell the story that she's this girl that came... They don't tell you that she was married to a movie star. It's
is
also...
it Breslin?
Breslin. Spencer Breslin.
Breslin. Okay. All
yes. Right. But the media don't report the fact that she was married to a movie star. She also, it's interesting, she was friends with she was friends with Pamela Anderson. Now, I think Pamela Anderson is an animal rights activist, and she's known for being like very, very effective at being an activist. So I think a lot of the things that Grace Tame is doing, she's been advised by people like Pamela Anderson who know how to work the media, and they know how to, really get their point across. But she's seen as this girl that's sort of, this brave underclass girl that's come from nowhere, and it couldn't be any further from the truth. She's, came from an elite family, married an elite man, has elite friends. And I think that's the reason why she's a superstar and the other ones in the movement aren't.
But I mean, that doesn't mean she wasn't raped, though.
Well, no, she wasn't raped. She had a sexual relationship with a man when she was underage.
No, we've been through this before, but I'm just saying. Maybe it was a thing. Who knows?
Yeah, well, it was a thing. Definitely was a thing. The guy went to jail. The guy admitted. He didn't deny it. He admitted it, pled guilty, and went to jail. She also didn't have to go through the trial because they agreed. He agreed to the with the police that he'd done the wrong thing. He agreed to 2 years and 10 months in jail. Have you seen my interviews with Nicholas Bester?
Oh, I haven't yet, though.
No,
but feel free to share them in the chat here if you want to.
Yeah, the other thing that was quite interesting. This probably highlights best just how dangerous it is to talk out about Grace Tame in Australia. Have you ever heard of a woman by the name of Bettina Arndt?
Yes, I have. Yes.
Very famous Australian woman. She interviewed Nicholas Bester, and the entire parliament filed a motion against her. She won an Australia Day honour, an award, not the main prize, but an honour. So an Australia Day award. And the whole parliament went to parliament and had a big vote against her winning that award. Everyone except for two politicians from a minor party voted to have her award stripped. And that was because of the fact that she interviewed Nicholas Bester. Which I find interesting because, Mary Kay Letourneau, the woman that had a baby to a boy she met.
Yes, I do. Yep. U.S. Oregon, I think. Yep. Oregon.
Barbara Walters interviewed her. All the major media outlets interviewed her. And I've never heard anybody criticize them for interviewing her. Yet Bettina Arndt is the devil that every single MP in Australia voted against because she interviewed a man who had committed an offence and went to jail. So just think about that. If a woman has sex with someone who's underage, the media's allowed to interview her. But if a man does that, the media's not allowed to interview him. And if they do, they deserve to be ousted. And that actually pretty much ended her career. She used to get on all the big TV channels here, Sky News, Channel 7, Channel 9.
Yep.
She doesn't get on any of those anymore. And it's all because she had the audacity to interview Nicholas Bester. That's how big it is here to question Grace Tame. It'll ruin your career.
Yeah, I'm just saying that, if she has an allegation, we need to investigate it fully.
Yeah. Well, it has been investigated. The guy went to jail. She doesn't really have anything to complain about. The legal system did the right thing. The man committed a crime. He was jailed. The system worked.
And that's the way it should be.
She doesn't really have she shouldn't have any complaints against the legal system. But
she does. She's a feminist. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll tell you what's interesting too about the whole Sri Lankan cricketer and then the Brittany Higgins business. Brittany Higgins is saying that it was really unfair that she was named by the media and the media analyzed her story. But that's not true. The media only named Brittany Higgins because Brittany Higgins went to the media before she went to the police. The girl that's made the allegation against the Sri Lankan cricketer, nobody knows her name in Australia. If you claim to be the victim of a rape, the media do not name you unless you go to the media yourself.
That's right.
So Brittany Higgins was saying it's so unfair that I've been named in the media. The media's done the wrong thing by me, but the only reason why she was named was because she wanted to be and she went to the media. So
well, I just think that if there's, an allegation, we need to investigate it. I think we agree on that. So
definitely. Yep.
Yeah. All right. I got to check out though, sir. It's 4:00 in the morning here in the U.S.
One last thing though.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Nicholas Bester is keen to come onto your channel and be interviewed by you.
He would what? I'm sorry?
I've spoken to Nicholas Bester. He's very keen to come onto your channel and for you to interview him on your channel.
Well, hey, send me the link, jamesvonmaxwell@gmail.com. We'll do something. All right. Sounds good.
Awesome. Yeah. Fantastic.
Right, feminism. Work. Good to hear from you, man. Come back again.
You too.
All right.
Thank you very much.
You guys take care. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.